is based on
Jesus was actually he was an observant Jew. I mean, like it does talk in the New Testament about Jesus, being a Jew and doing Jewish things and such.
Where do you think Christianity comes from? Well, it obviously is based. I mean, there's a New Testament, of course, but it has the Hebrew Bible as a massive, massive component of it.
You're familiar with the story of Jesus, right? Jesus was a Jewish rabbi living 2,000 years ago. He was a rabbi from the Galilee, okay? He came to Jerusalem, he turned the money tables.
I think people forget that the world of Jesus was a Jewish world. His name is Jewish. This is the point Netanyahu makes in the film. His dad is Yosef. His mother is Miriam. So you have this kind of Jewish ambiance. Jesus is standing in a synagogue. He's holding the scriptures. But what are the scriptures? He's not holding the book of Acts. He's holding the Old Testament. He's holding the Hebrew scriptures. He's teaching out of the Hebrew scriptures. Those are the only scriptures that exist in Jesus' time.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, Jesus the Jew, born a Jew, raised a Jew, died a Jew, coming back as the Lion of the tribe of Judah. He chose one nation to bring salvation to every nation.
Salvation is of the Jews. The patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, are all Jewish people.
If you're a Christian, there's a Jewish man living in your heart.
The whole understanding of the Messiah was something that God had already given as a gift to the Jewish people through the writings of the Old Testament, and particularly the prophets. The Jewish world was prepared for the coming of their deliverer. So when the wise men appear early in the Gospel of Matthew, they come looking for the King of the Jews.
Why? Why as Christians should we even care? Well, our faith is a Judeo-Christian faith. You know that, right? The Old Testament was written in Israel by Jews, right? Our faith comes from the faith of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. The promised land is where Jesus walked and did his ministry, where he was crucified, where he was resurrected. The scriptures are Jewish scriptures. Our Messiah is a Jewish Messiah. As Gentiles, we are grafted into the root system of Israel.
And the Jews are God's chosen people. And replacement theology is one of the doctrines of the demons. The church has not replaced the Jews. You need to understand that. All the promises that God has made to them will be fulfilled.
But at the end of the day, you can hate Israel all you want to. You can hate the Jews all you want to. You can hate Jerusalem all you want to. But here's what I know. The book of Zechariah says in the last days that the nations that turn against Jerusalem and the people of God, the Lord shall burn their eyes out.
I agree. In a sense, the Torah is eternal.
Amen.
Jesus Christ was a Jew. Jesus Christ is alive today. Jesus Christ embodied the completion and the fulfillment of the law. In him, all the laws are perfectly kept. And in that sense, the law of Moses is both fulfilled and eternal.
We have this in common. We have the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in common, if you're talking to a Jew. We have the Old Testament, which I know is true, in common. We have a Savior who is a Jew.
The first family of Christianity married Joseph and Jesus, all Jews. Jesus kept the law of Moses. Jesus said, "Do not think that I've come to destroy the law." And there are people who teach that. Jesus is saying, do not think that I have come to destroy the law, but to fulfill it. He celebrated his bar mitzvah at 13. He wore a prayer shawl from that day until the day he died.
And today the word Zion or Zionism or Zionist has bad thoughts connected to it because we've lost the public relations battle on that. Did you know that God, the God of the Bible, is a Zionist? It means this, that God believes that the throne of David will be on Mount Zion. It's God who believes that the children of Israel will return back to Zion. God says, I've put my name on Zion.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to No More News. I am Adam Green. Thank you all for joining me today. Tuesday, October 7th, the anniversary, 10/7, October 7th, 2025. Tons of stuff to cover today. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get to all of it. We've got some of the latest from Donald Trump's discussing pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell. And we got a bunch of new clips of Ben Shapiro sit down with Netanyahu. We have Candace Owens dropping a leaked group chat where Charlie Kirk, the day before he was killed, says that he's done with the Israel cause because a big Jewish donor was trying to cancel Tucker. Confirmed real by the top guy, one of the top guys at TPUSA now. We got some clips of Dinesh D'Souza and the Dragon Prophecy and a whole lot more. Tons of stuff that we got going today with a new mix from John Garadas titled "We Have a Serious Christianity Problem." That indeed. We're going to close out to another one of his, Wake Up Christians. First clip now. Let's get okay, this is turned on. Donald Trump more shilling Rabbi Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus, and the Jewish Messiah and the God of Israel for America, because there's nothing they hate more than all the Goyim believing in the God of Zion.
Because you want to prove, and I felt for a long time that, if a country doesn't have religion, doesn't have faith, doesn't have God, it's going to be very hard to be a good country. There's no reason to be good. I want to be good because you want to prove.
No reason to be good. That's so stupid. If you're not threatened with the punishment of eternal hell, there's no reason to be good. Really? People that don't believe in Jesus aren't good, can't be good. Give me a fucking break. Other societies that don't have a lot of Christians also follow the law, follow the rules for the most part, and want to be good. Altruism is a natural thing. Empathy is a natural thing. No, though, without Jesus and the Jews, you can't be good people. You can't have a country. You can't have a civilization without the Jews and their morals and their Messiah. I hate this rhetoric. It's such Jewish rhetoric.
There's no reason to be good. It's going to be very hard to be a good country. There's no reason to be good. I want to be good because you want to prove to God that you're good, so you go to that next step, right? So that's very important.
So you want to be good, so you go to heaven, right? That's what it says. Am I right? The next step, heaven. The test if we believe in the magical Jews and their Messiah, and the blood magic, in the Garden of Eden.
To me, I think it's really very important. And I felt for a long time.
Always showing us so hard. Okay, now here's discussing in true Christian fashion, forgiving Charlie Kirk's killer, forgiving Ghislaine Maxwell. She's just a victim of Epstein anyway, right, guys? Am I right? Wait till we see the Alex Jones spin on this too. He's like, he's being Machiavellian. He's using this to leverage it over the deep state, and we'll cover that too in a second. He really tries to play coy, tries to play dumb about all of this, too.
Its term today, Mr. President.
Say it.
The Supreme Court is back and said that they rejected today an appeal by Ghislaine Maxwell to overturn her conviction. That means her only chance of getting out of prison is a pardon from you. Is that something you're...
Who are we talking about?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
I haven't heard the name in so long. I can say this, that I'd have to take a look at it. I would have to take a look.
I haven't heard of that and haven't thought about Epstein in forever, actually.
Did you reject that?
She wanted to appeal her conviction.
And what happened?
They said that they were not going to hear her appeal.
I see. Well, I'll take a look at it. I will speak to the DOJ. I wouldn't consider it or not consider it. I don't know anything about it. So, but I will speak to the DOJ.
He's just totally avoiding the question.
I don't know. I mean, I'd have to speak to the DOJ. I'll look at it. I have a lot of people have asked.
Didn't she get interviewed and say, like, nothing too shady was going on and Trump wasn't involved, so now he's going to repay her by giving her a pardon? Is that the play here? Or is he giving her a pardon to keep her silent so that she doesn't expose the whole thing? What's the play?
For pardons. I call him Puff Daddy has asked me for a pardon.
But she was convicted of child sex trafficking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to take a look at it. I'd have to ask DOJ. I didn't know they rejected it. I didn't know she was even asking for it, frankly.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Here's Bondi being asked about Epstein as well in front of Congress.
February, you made a public claim that the Epstein client list was, quote, sitting on my desk right now for review, end of quote. You then produced already public information and no client list at a major media event hosted at the White House. Attorney General,
we're getting TTS turned on. Powerchat.live/
waiting for your review, and then
no more news. She's getting pressed on the client list. Pinned to the link in the description below and pinned at the top of the live stream where we're streaming on Odyssey and Rumble and X. It'll be posted later on YouTube as well. Adam Green fan page on YouTube.
Media event hosted at the White House. Attorney General Bondi, why did you publicly claim to have the Epstein client list waiting for your review and then produce nothing relevant to that claim?
Senator Durbin, if you listen to my entire clip on that, I said I had not reviewed
So,
it.
there, you don't send $5. Let's get this party started. Putin's birthday today or soon. Well,
today.
His own claim seems big if true.
Right. Yeah, no wonder she was so confident. We'll get there shortly. We'll get to the Candace stuff shortly.
Sitting on my desk.
One of the top
with
stories.
The JFK files, the Martin Luther King files. And I said I had not yet reviewed it. And if you see our memo on Epstein, you will see, excuse me, our memo on Epstein clearly points out that there was no client list, our July 6th memo.
Going back to the Epstein files, according to another whistleblower who made a protected disclosure to my office, you pushed the FBI to review approximately 100,000 Epstein-related records on an arbitrarily short deadline in March, and the FBI was directed to flag any documents that mentioned President Trump. Nothing came of that review until July when DOJ and FBI released an unsigned memo stating, quote, there's no incriminating client list. Why was the July 7th memo unsigned?
The July 7th memo came from the FBI and the Department of Justice. Director Patel answered those questions.
Stacia, thank you. Your birthday.
927 sent $10 on Rumble. It's also my birthday.
Awesome. Same October 7th birthday as Putin. Yeah, I saw it was reported that Netanyahu had a phone call with Putin and wished him an early happy birthday. So it reminded me of it. And remember, I think it was Hillary Clinton was trying to say that she thought Putin was involved with October 7th because Hamas met with them and did it on his birthday. And there was somebody that had a theory that it was like somehow benefiting Russia for October 7th to happen, to like shift resources or attention away from the Ukraine or something. I think it was. Happy birthday, Stacia.
Very clear. And, you know, Senator Durbin, I find it very interesting that you refused repeated Republican requests to release the Epstein flight logs in 2023 and 2024. You fought that. Did you take money from Reid Hoffman, campaign donations, who was a huge Epstein friend? Why did you fight for years? Why did you fight to not?
Strategy is to flip it back on the Dems.
The flight logs, Senator Durbin.
I can tell you I did not refuse. One of the senators here wished to produce those logs, and I asked her to put it in writing, and she never did.
Yeah, I think Senator Blackburn would quarrel with you on that.
Well, I will quarrel with you as to Reid, somebody that you mentioned I never heard of.
Reid Hoffman.
So who gave the order to flag records related to President Trump?
To flag records for President Trump?
To flag any records which included his name.
I'm not going to discuss anything about that with you, Senator.
Oh.
I'm going to have to answer for your...
Wow. So they're busted trying to flag. They said, hey, when you look into those, if there's anything with Trump, like, we got to bury that. Don't disclose anything linking Trump to Epstein, right? And that's her answer when he asked her that?
I'm not going to discuss anything about that with you, Senator.
Eventually, you're going to have to answer for your conduct in this.
That's what he said at the beginning, too. Are they?
No client list at a major media event hosted at the White House.
Okay, we get the point. Interesting. Here's Alex Jones' spin on this. He's totally sweeping for Trump. He's basically doing QAnon, 4D chess. Trump's using it to blackmail all of the deep state. Like, come on.
In the 20 years.
And as if, couldn't he just use it as leverage with Ghislaine in prison, too? What does Ghislaine getting a pardon have to do with Trump allegedly leveraging all the Epstein blackmail on everybody?
In the 20-year saga
of the Jeffrey Epstein, Mossad, MI6 honeypot cover-up.
He's sweeping for Trump.
Hours ago, the biggest development took place.
So hard.
By the clip.
Yo, John.
John Wright has sent $90 keeping.
Whoa, thanks, buddy.
90 shekels for 90,000 followers on Twitter. Ask Lenarda Joni to come on the show. She has a big following and I think she might be open to being green-pilled. It depends on her if she will put truth over the money.
I should do that. You're right. We hit 90K too. Thanks for that is the tradition. That's awesome. Counting down to 91 and then 100. It'll be awesome. So the 6-figure club. Leonardo Joni, great idea. I went to her comedy show. It was funny, and she's been cool. She's defended me a few times on Twitter as well. I don't know how open she's going to be to it, but I definitely should reach out to her for a collab. We'll see. We'll see what she says. I think I have before, but it was when we were like beefing over some Christian thing. So we'll see.
President Trump, speaking from the Resolute desk in the Oval Office, said, yeah, we're open to a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, I've been predicting for months that's coming. And going back before Trump was even reelected, I said, from my sources, Trump's not involved with Epstein abusing these young girls, but the CIA and others have come to him and said, sir, we have the whole proof of this network. And if you bring it out, it'll bring down the government, the corporations, all these top bankers, the head of Harvard, the Clintons, Bill Gates, all of it. But if you use this leverage, including against the British Empire and Prince Andrew.
Oh, he's gonna leverage it against Prince Andrew and the British Empire. Dude, this is Q tier. This is Q tier. Oh, Trump's keeping all the blackmail to himself to blackmail the Bilderberg globalists and Atlanticists and the royals.
We can have them literally eat out of our hands. Now, I understood the Machiavellian angle of that. I didn't agree with it. And I said, let justice be done, may the heavens fall. But I said back in January of this year and right through to now, we'll play a compilation in a moment.
Trump hasn't even confirmed that he's gonna pardon her either.
This was coming.
He just avoided the question.
DOJ whistleblower, Glenn Prager, will play a clip of in a moment, who was on record the main DOJ investigator 20 years ago until...
Is this a green screen or
5 years?
TVs?
He interviewed the victims. He's talked to people.
He's got a fake bookshelf with TVs. Is that what I'm looking at here? Or is that a real bookshelf?
Saw Bill Clinton on the planes while the girls were getting raped.
It's probably real.
Trump was never there.
But it looks like TV
screens.
screens.
Times flew down from New York and New Jersey when his plane was broken to Palm Beach in Florida. We already knew
this is his new studio because apparently I think they took over InfoWars today. From my understanding, at least they said it was going to happen.
That. Trump would never, not a pedo anyways, go to Russia to be peed on by hookers, to be blackmailed. He's about being in control. He'd never go screw kids. I mean, it's not who Trump is.
Dude, Trump talked about him and Epstein both liking young girls. In that infamous quote.
Just from a position of power, much less you're not into it. But I said...
Yeah, all the rest of them are into it, but Trump, like the most epitome of it, isn't.
Which I disagree with, would be to use it for blackmail and leverage.
See, he disagrees with this. Is his way of distancing it from Trump? Is he's not agreeing with Trump's 4D chess Machiavellian using it to blackmail and bring the royal to their knees and the Bilderbergs and the globalists to their knees with the blackmail. Come on, dude. So this is such cover-up. He's in with this, and he's covering it up. Stop trying to spin this into he's doing the right thing, Jones.
And I said, don't do it, Trump, but he's done that. So I'm the first to be on record about this.
Said you better not.
A long time, and now it's official. We have Glenn Prager.
You better not.
Information a few weeks ago.
What movie is that from? I told him you better not. You better not do it. I can't remember what it's from.
Trump saying, let's get ready to pardon and bring out the information on Ghislaine Maxwell. And then that's the ultimate form of leverage. In fact, the first commenter on the Trump video says...
That's what it is. Oh, my God. How funny is this? Dude, wasn't it just last stream I was talking about Ben Stiller and all the great one-liners from Ben Stiller? That one just popped into my head from like watching a movie when I was a teenager. You better not. You better not. I just Googled "You Better Not" movie. It's from this movie called Orange County, which, remember, I'm from SoCal too. 2002. And it's Jack Black and Ben Stiller. Yeah, Jack Black and Ben Stiller. Watch this. This scene. They're like smoking weed and they light the school dorm room on fire. This is such a sidetrack, but you better not. Did anybody get it before me in the chat? I wasn't really looking.
Okay, it's negatory, Julio. I need to wedge that.
Yeah, 2 streams ago, I was talking about all the. Here's Ben.
What's your name?
Joe. John.
What is it?
Joe John.
Joe John.
Name's Joe John.
Johnston, Joe.
You want to tell me what happened here?
There's a fire. I don't know. I came by and was checking out the fire.
Well, that lady, Mona, she said that you two were in the building when the fire started.
Yeah, she's a liar, because I don't know her. So whatever she says is a lie, so.
Okay, so you're saying you weren't in the building with that woman?
No, not I. All right. She started it, all right? Because she was like, I hate my job. I'm going to burn this mother down. And I said, you better not. You better not.
You better not.
She said it was an electrical fire.
It was. It was a total electrical fire. It was like the switches had.
Yeah, I had this one on DVD too. It's so funny.
The sockets, and it's like the 4th of July, man.
Why aren't you wearing your pants, Joe?
I tripped, and then I had to take them off to run faster out of the flames.
This was like the first movie I ever saw. This was the first scene I ever saw Jack Black in as a kid.
I think I nailed some smoke. Will you excuse me 1 second? I'll be right back.
All right. Total sidetrack. Trump, you better not. I told Trump, you better not pardon her. You better not do the Machiavellian 4D chess and blackmail the whole deep state. You better not, Trump. I'm getting that. All Yid casts. Yeah. I know, exactly.
Total war against the hidden establishment. Potential pardon is the ultimate form of leverage, is the key to the Epstein black box. It's telling the entire establishment elite that their secrets are now presidential assets. This is aimed at.
Actually, Ben Stiller's not Jewish. He's actually.
I just don't want to get into a formal thing here. I'm white, you know? I'm white.
White.
W-H-I-T.
And he goes in, and it's true. But now the ultimate question is, will he use her pardon and her going public, or her being released, to then go after them, or does he shut it down? Because you can bring out the truth, justice be done when the heavens fall, or you can use it against the bad guys. That's kind of becoming them. That's really the question. So
Jones is really having to break a mental sweat. Another Ben Stiller reference. Jones is really breaking a mental sweat to sweep for Trump's cover-up of the Epstein scandal.
You caught me. I like to break a mental sweat, too.
We don't know what's going to happen yet, but I want to be 100% clear. Every time I put these videos out, people say, oh, he says it's good. He says Trump should do it. No, I think this is a bad idea. But I didn't predict it and tell you from sources this is what was happening. I'm simply showing you the war game of what's going on. I do not agree with this. It does absolve Trump overall. We know he's not involved in any of the.
Trump's absolved. He wasn't involved. He's just covering it up. He was just close friends with Epstein for 10 years. He's just drawing naked girls and writing them poems and talking about how he loves girls. He's completely absolved, and he's just doing the 4D chess Machiavellian thing, but I'm not for it. And I predicted it all. Dude, Jones is so shameless. No, yeah, that's a joke. That's a clip of Ben Stiller in Dodgeball saying he's white. No, we obviously know Ben Stiller's Jewish. Come on. Of course, that's a joke.
In a sick way, he becomes an accomplice to it by doing this, though you can see the sick political thinking of why he did it. So I'm simply walking through why he's doing it. I'm not defending it. I'm explaining how it happened. I predicted it would happen before sources told me, indeed, that is what is happening.
Oh, and the sources told me, and everything's confirmed. I was totally right.
It's a bad move. I think he's going to bite Trump in the ass. If he's pardoning her to use it as blackmail and shut this down, if he's pardoning her so that she can come out and now expose them, that is awesome and needs to happen. Just like in the mafia, somebody.
Is that a possibility? Anybody think? He's going to pardon her and she's going to go on and do big interviews and blow the whistle and take down the deep state and exonerate Trump. That could be the play.
This protection. We don't know yet. But I know from my sources, the FBI, the CIA came to Trump when he was president-elect and said,
I saw the documents. I got the sources.
Security. That's exactly what Glenn Prager, who ran...
Trump is actually defending America. Trump has to cover up. You see, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just calling the balls and strikes. Donald Trump has to cover up the Epstein scandal. Otherwise, America will collapse. The whole house of cards will come down. He has to do it. It's Machiavellian. It's 5D chess. He's bringing the royals and the globalists to his knees. The globalists to his knees. How does he come up with this gaslighting? Years of taking tangy tangerine and super male fatality and methylene blue and iodine and X2 iodine.
The investigation on record for the first 5 years said is that Trump covered it up. He's not involved. And by the way, he's not even a Trump supporter.
Watch the Collapse podcast. Sent $5 on Rumble. Happy B-Day, Stacia. Killing it, Adam. Shout out Mike J. My white brother starting his fitness journey. Sending real psychic love to all my tribe. No more news crew for life. Christ cucks get mogged.
Get mogged. Sheep.
That's how we got.
Thanks to Watch the Collapse.
Of 47 with the CIA. This idea of, well, we cover stuff up, it's for the greater good. No. Trump should release it all. And I predict if this is a cover-up, it's not going away. If he's pardoning her to go public and turn 6 evidence, that's a great thing. We don't know yet. But regardless, this is the biggest development yet, ladies and gentlemen. This is massive. And then you've got Jack Smith coming out, illegally spying on Congress, the House and Senate.
X-Grow % $10 now that Fuentes cut during the BB ordered hit on Charlie Kirk. You are my prime news source now. Christian cowards always cuck and sell out. Alex Jones is a prime example and a classic guy who always has a made-up source for any topic.
Right. Sorry to break it to you, ex-Groiper, but I pretty much agreed with a lot of the Fuentes analysis on the Charlie Kirk thing so far, to be fair. We're getting to their next segment. I'll expand on that a little bit.
All this stuff's coming to a head. More big indictments.
Because Fuentes kept saying, hey, Candace, you're talking a big game, but they're all bringing the receipts. Where are your receipts? Where's your proof of any of this? And she finally just dropped the text messages, and she's kind of threatening that she has more to release. I don't know how she got them. We're going to get there in a second. But now that she has come forth with some receipts, at the very minimum, all of the Charlie's the greatest friend Israel ever had. He was historically, but then to avoid the fact that he was like very clearly had a falling out right before, trying to pretend like that didn't happen. Oh, we're going to get into this Josh Hammer thing too. We'll get it in a second. We're almost there.
What an exciting time to be alive. But regardless, they're sitting in the state.
I got a lot
tomorrow, Tuesday,
to say about it.
They can shut us down tomorrow. We're going to see what they're going to do. They're coming here, I guess, with the sheriff's deputies. Tomorrow could be the last day of Infowars. It's okay. We have the Alex Jones Backup Network at AGN Live, or Alex Jones on X, on Rumble, the Alex Jones Network. But they really want us off the air right now. They're so panicked. But thanks to you, no matter where we...
Okay. All right. We heard the Jones spin.
Once again, trying to...
That's the one we already heard. Let's see. Now, Kash Patel discusses kicking out the ADL. Says he called them a bunch of times.
It's all being caused. It's not individual acts of violence. It is organized anarchy and chaos. And thanks to the president's initiatives, and when I was there in the Oval Office when he signed it, we are getting after the fight with more resources and tools than we've ever had.
I found it interesting that your latest on the Anti-Defamation League, political fronts masquerading as watchdogs.
Yeah. I mean, just go look at the glossary index of what they used to have as what they called the equivalent of terrorist organizations. Turning Point USA on the list. Just to name one example.
So you thought they were a useful tool for former director James Comey?
No, I didn't. Absolutely not. I don't know why he ever partnered with them. except to bandy his name about in the public and work with the lobbyists down on K Street. Let me tell you something about this. When word got out that I was about to kick the ADL out, do you know who called this building? The lobbyists for ADL, begging for a phone call.
For ADL.
And I said, no. That's how I knew they were in the wrong.
Didn't even take their phone call.
And we put it out for the world to see.
Wow. Wow.
Watch the collapse.
Ex-Groper.
$5 on Rumble. 5 for ex-Groper. Welcome home, brother. Charlie Kirk or not, the crew here are not disingenuous frauds. We all have integrity and respect and solid friendships. Awesome to hear. Nick's Catholic cucked.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're figured out that Catholicism is not the way and you're green-pilled on the Jesus question, then you have found the right place. Regardless of the Charlie Kirk thing, which it's still an open investigation as far as I'm concerned. We haven't made any conclusive, concrete opinions on it. Let's see. Okay, remember we covered last stream, there was a leak that Donald Trump had enough of Netanyahu, and he's saying, you're always negative. You're always effing negative. That's what the thing said. Well, Trump denies it.
He's been
that you had a call with Prime Minister Netanyahu where you told him to stop being so negative and to take the win when it came to Hamas's response to that. Is that true? And
no, it's not true. He's been very positive. He's been very positive on the deal. Everybody is. I think
that you had a call with Prime Minister Netanyahu.
Oh, turned out to be bunk again, like we discussed about those leaks. Here he's talking about Hamas deal some more.
It was reported by Axios over the weekend that you had a call with Prime Minister Netanyahu where you told him to stop being so negative and to take the win when it came to Hamas's response to that. Is that true? And
no, it's not true. He's been very positive. He's been very positive on the deal. Everybody is. I think every nation is. We have just about every nation working on this deal and trying to get it done. Something that you could say 3,000 years if you look at it in certain ways, or you could say centuries, but this is a deal that...
The greatest deal ever, 3,000-year deal, the biblical deal, the Nobel... It's going to be a big thing. He's going to be the peace president, the Prince of Peace, the Nobel Peace Prize, the Covenant of the Many, all of these Muslim countries that he's working so closely with. Right? Peace and security, the covenant of the Abraham, as I like to say, Abraham. That's the funniest clip ever, dude. I can't. It's so much more elegant when you say Abraham, like the real Jews do.
Incredibly, everyone just came together. They all came together. No, Israel's been great. They've all been good, Caitlin.
And in the negotiations, do you have any red lines in terms of Hamas disarming and whatnot?
No, I have red lines.
I need that clip.
Certain things aren't met. We're not going to do it. But I think we're doing very well. Hamas has been agreeing to things that are very important.
Okay, more on Hamas.
And I think Hamas now has been, all I can say is they've been fine. They've been fine. I hope it's going to continue that way. I think it will. I really think we're going to have a...
Hey, how you doing? Fine. Hey, what's up? You all right?
Continue that way. I think it will.
Fine.
I think we're going to have a deal. We have a really good chance of making a deal. And I think Hamas now...
When you're scared to say anything nice... When you're scared to say anything nice because your Israel supporters will start seething, fine. Well, you don't want to talk shit, but you don't want to say anything nice to try to get them, sweeten them up to sign in the deal, to agree into the deal. That's where you get fine.
Qatar, they have a lot of respect for UAE.
The ceasefire in Erdogan.
Muslim country. We have every country surrounding. They all want. I spoke with President Erdogan of Turkey. He's fantastic. He's been pushing very hard. He's a very powerful guy, and he's been pushing very, very hard to get this deal done. And Hamas has a lot of respect for him. They have a lot of respect for Qatar. They have a lot of respect for UAE and Saudi Arabia. We have everybody is on our side to get this deal done. There's never been anything like it. Nobody's ever seen it. There's always been like
The greatest deal ever made. Nobody's ever seen it. It's never been done. The greatest deal of all time. 3,000 years. The prophets foretold. I'm the greatest king of the world. Save the world. God saved me to save the world. That's the movie we're watching. And I feel like that's the movie we're watching.
80% of them don't want something done. I think virtually, we even had a signal, a very strong signal, as you know, from Iran. They'd like to see this done. Muslim country, we have every...
Netanyahu brags about giving the U.S. the most advanced offensive weapons.
Well, I can tell you we shared it with America, but I can't share it with you. Okay? The most advanced offensive weapons on the planet.
Ben's laugh.
Things that
like a little sniveling rodent.
Shared with America.
Avram.
Well, I can tell you we shared it with America.
Abraham. Didn't he say that? Like, okay. Didn't he say Abraham though? Don't make me go find that.
Well, I can tell you we shared it with America, but I can't share it with you. Okay? The most advanced offensive weapons on the planet. Things that none of the superpowers have. Developed by Israel, shared with America. Well, I can tell you we shared it with America, but I can't share it with you. Okay? The most advanced...
Okay, I can't hear that again. Okay, now he's talking about the weapons. Everybody was retweeting and saying, is Netanyahu going to bomb us?
And they've got...
They're like, we're about to get nuked. And he's gonna bomb us.
Now. Ballistic missiles.
Blame it on Iran.
Intercontinental ballistic missiles for 8,000 kilometer range. What does that mean? They add another 3,000 kilometers, and they've got under their atomic guns, in New York City in target, Washington, Boston, Miami, Mar-a-Lago. Okay? So that is a very great danger. You don't want to be under the nuclear gun of these people who are not necessarily rational and who chant death to America. Iran is developing now ballistic missiles that are...
But he said Iran.
Ballistic missiles for 8,000 kilometer range. What does that mean? They add another 3,000 kilometers, and they've got...
No, okay. So he's just pushing for the threat of Iran. So they want more war with Iran, apparently. Thank you, tells
the gospel of the Goyshak and his green pill.
Ha 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 ha. That'll be the title of the book, Gospel of the Goyshak. That's funny. So still beating the war drums for us to do more bombings of Iran. Oh, you thought that war was over? Remember Trump was like, the 12-day war, the great 12-day war. I won in 12 days. I'm a war hero. I guess it's not over. All the Zionists were like, see, we were in and out. America first. Total W. See, it didn't turn into another Iraq.
Atomic guns. In New York City in target, Washington, Boston.
Okay, bro. We get the dramatic effect listing out all the American cities. Yeah. Thanks for threatening, scaring everybody in all the big major cities.
Miami, Mar-a-Lago.
Mar-a-Lago. So we will blow up Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump.
You don't want to be under the nuclear gun of these people who are not necessarily rational and who chant death to America.
They're not rational. They're radical Muslim extremists that want to blow up the world for Allah. Don't pay no mind to the rabbis that want to conquer Edom and Gog and Magog and nuclear war. So Moshiach comes. Ignore all that. Yeah. Iran aren't thinking straight because they're radical Muslims, but ignore all the religious people in Israel and all the death cult Christian Zionists.
Side of our life. We're going to be self-sufficient. And that we know we have to make Israel strong. We know, and I know, that most Israelis support overwhelmingly my goal of military self-sufficiency, just as they supported my goal of economic self-sufficiency. And look what happened. Look at Israel today. It's we don't have, there's nothing that is left of this socialist past that we had that was ridiculous. We were like a poor Eastern European communist country, and we're not there anymore because they accepted that.
Israel started as a poor Eastern European communist country of kibbutzes.
Idea of self-sufficiency, of living by our own means, of living by our ingenuity, innovation, enterprise.
By your own means, you mean by all the aid?
Same thing is happening now
All the reparations and all the aid from America.
Side of our life. We're going to be self-sufficient. And that's going to be very good for Israel. It's going to be very good for the United States. No, we have to make Israel.
They hate us. In the same interview, he says they hate us for no reason. Esau hates us for no reason. It's like a law of nature. Where have we heard this one before? Oh, the crazy goy. They think we killed God. They don't understand what the Messiah is, and they blame us for killing God. It's no reason. It's made up blood libel, trope, conspiracy theories. That's the narrative, and it works, and they get away with it. That's why they do it. So many people fall into the satanic drinking blood, you worship Satan, synagogue of Satan, killed God. And they point to that, and then they get away with it because of this narrative.
Breakfast was October 7th, right? That's 2 years ago, before we had this war. Okay. What happened on that day? You had massive crowds.
X-Grow I percent $10. Tell me Trump isn't worse than the Camacho president in the Idiocracy movie. He got that same brain rot that Biden has. He sells Trump Bibles. Trump, a guy who is 20 years friends with Epstein and Roy Cohen, two Jewish pedo blackmailers. Embarrassing AF.
Right. And if you're an ex-Goiper, Nick supported that for 8 years when we were exposing it.
Sent $5 on Rumble. In the Old Testament, God commanded Abraham to circumcise his babies to show obedience to him. Does that mean Jesus commanded Abraham to do that since Jesus claims to be God from the Old Testament?
Yeah. Jesus commanded the foreskin removals. Yep. Jesus had his foreskin removed. These e-crusaders share memes. They go like, if Jesus was Jewish, then why didn't he suck on a baby pee-pee? Right? But he had a bris on the 8th day according to the law, according to Jewish law.
This was October 7th, right? That's 2 years ago, before we had this war. Okay. What happened on that day? You had massive crowds in the capitals of the West, including in the United States, in the cities of the United States, supporting Hamas, supporting these rapists, these murderers, these beheaders of men and burners of babies.
Baby burners.
Shouting for Hamas. Remember that?
How many babies have you burned, BB? How many little crispy children do you have on your soul, indebted to your existence? Dude, this guy has probably charred tens of thousands of babies in his reign. At least minimum 10,000 babies have been burnt to a crisp and blown up by this guy.
That was before Israel did anything. We couldn't even get to the point where we defended ourselves. It took us a while. So it's not related to that. It's related to an underlying hatred of Jews that permeates the centuries, unfortunately. And
it's always just a baseless hatred. They didn't do nothing. It's a law of nature. And then they say this baseless hatred is why they believe they're chosen. They hate us so much, we must be chosen. Yahweh said we'd be punished by the nations.
Only two things that I'd say about it. It's been a constant phenomenon of Jewish life over the millennia to have these horrible lies perpetrated about Jews, these vilifications. We poison the wells. We drink the children, the blood of children,
right?
And all sorts of crazy things.
You see,
that's
their identity is the victimhood from these Christian satanic blood libels. This is the dynamic, and look at where it's gotten them. Look who's on top. Look who's in the driver's seat. Look who's on the internet kvetching behind Anon accounts with no institutional power because of this dynamic, with all within the Judeo framework of fighting over who the Messiah is and who has the covenant. And this is the paradigm right here. And they're always drawing attention to it. It's the butt of the joke. It's mocked. It's the discredited villain, and they're the poor persecuted victim. And the story of the last 2,000 years has been the chronicles of the Jews and their exile. The gods, there's a crazy verse in Lamentations 4. I've talked about this with Gnostic Informant. In Lamentations 4, it talks about that the Jews will be under the shadow in exile under the anointed one. Story of the last 2,000 years is the battle between Esau and Jacob for the Jewish covenant and the Jewish Messiah.
Repeat it today. That's not new. And every time we had it in history, these vilifications were just preceded and were followed by
Holocaust and pogroms.
Horrible massacres.
Right.
And pogroms, culminating in the worst pogrom of them all.
The Holocaust. I haven't even seen it, and I already know what he's saying before he's saying it. And this is the official narrative. This is the headlines. The history books are written. All the politicians, all the mainstream media institutions all toe this narrative. And this is where following the same Judeo matrix gets us.
Lost, in which 6 million Jews were basically burnt alive.
Holocausted. Basically a ritual Holocaust. Okay, come on. Why is this not going? Burnt offering. Holocaust literally means burnt offering. Okay. I think, hold on.
Pogroms culminating in the...
Okay, it's the same clip we just saw.
If you're without allies who may...
Denies that he asks America to fight its wars. Total gaslighting. Next level gaslighting.
America first doesn't mean America alone. Because all countries need allies. Superpowers need allies. China has allies. Russia has allies. And if you're without allies who may develop the technologies that are needed for your defense, or the technologies that are needed for your offense, or the intelligence to save your lives.
He's literally saying that we need them to save our lives. We wouldn't have military weapons without Netanyahu and the Jews. You need us, Goy.
Why forfeit yourself of these allies? The problem that you've had over the years, the United States, is that you didn't have these allies pulling their weight. And Israel is an ally, it's a fighting ally that pulls its weight. Not only that, not only do we fight, we don't ask for Americans to bring boots on the ground, we've done the job of...
You called for regime change in Iraq where there was boots on the ground. Wrong. Lies. Like, we didn't forget about that, Netanyahu. How does he think he can pull this?
You sit on a throne of lies.
And then they didn't join. Israel didn't even, he pushed for it in Congress and in the media, and then they didn't even join the coalition.
Defending ourselves pretty well, I'd say, over the last 7 years. But it's not only that. We've also defeated enemies who are your enemies who are trying to develop intercontinental ballistic missiles armed with nuclear warheads to attack your cities. That's what Iran was doing. We just knocked out Iran. Also with, as I said, with President Trump's very judicious and pointed...
Yeah, you knocked out Iran, or we helped you do it?
Assistance.
We did it for you. Yo, Indomitably, what's up, bro?
$20 on Rumble. Israel will betray us to the CCP likely within 5 years. David Shoddy had a good analysis of this. They can keep by stealing our miltech and even drop some of THR blackmail on our polls to spread chaos.
I remember an article a while back. Israel was investing in their currency. Like, I think they were even pulling out of our currency and investing in their currency. And, you know, Netanyahu's talked about their tech partnerships a whole lot as well. Lots of money to be made doing business with China and that population.
Didn't require, thousands of Americans to die or to go to Tehran. No. We had exactly the right alliance in which we shared the labor, and we achieved this neutralization of Iran, which could blackmail every American city. People probably don't believe it, right? I don't believe it. Oh, we're far away, right? No, you're not. Iran is developing now ballistic missiles that are intercontinental ballistic missiles for 8,000 kilometers.
Oh, my God. Look at this. Hold on. We're going to interrupt live. Lucas Gage versus Stu Peters. Is J-Proof a scam? It's happening already with Dan Bilzerian. 1.7 thousand listening.
Really
I didn't
nice to
rob
bring 'em up.
anybody.
Sure you didn't. Don't worry, we'll show everybody.
Okay, so the first tweet is in the nest. It's your claim that there was insiders, I presume, is the first tweet, right? What's his name again? Lucas. So do you want to explain what your position is based on what's in the nest? Lucas? Guys, can you hear me?
Uh-oh, Mossad's Mossad's
Looks like
destroying
his,
Lucas.
Mute button's stuck.
Uh-oh.
Oh, my bad. I got too many screens open. Okay. Yeah. So where's the nest here? Okay.
We're just gonna listen to this for a minute.
Yeah, it's how. And by the way, if anyone wants to do,
It started.
share something via the super
When did
chat,
this
that's
start?
in the nest as well. But just go ahead.
25 minutes
What
ago.
is it? You just walk everybody through your point.
Okay. So let me.
They're fighting over Stu's meme coin.
Okay, I'll read it. I'll read it, but then I mean, I'm not an expert on this, so this is what the claim is. Hidden.
This is already not. Already want to change it.
Nobody knowing about
Green
it. It was
Peach
a
Goy sent $5. What's the end game if it's all fake when Jesus never comes or the Jewish Messiah doesn't come? Do they keep the believers waiting?
Was the co-founder, which would
They turn him into Noahide slowly and then follow the Jewish Messiah. That's what's probably going to happen.
approved to this wallet on the 15th of May.
This is going to be a tedious arguing
This wallet had already
over a bunch of crypto details.
Community heads.
So we're not going to listen long. We'll listen. We'll play the highlights when it gets clipped up after the fact of the crash outs
social media entity
and the
after
bullshit.
watching the LP and Stu being forced to admit they fucked up but claim they got. Okay, this is not the main point on the. So I think that's the main point. The first one.
That's the wrong message there. So that's why I wish people up here were able to press it because I got to send it through these people here. I got to send it through you. I just sent you another post which is about the 6 wallets. I'm sorry, I sent the wrong link. This is what sucks about not having a blue check mark.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna put that up now. In the next
We're giving it one more minute. I just want to hear one good soundbite at least.
Can I just ask you a question in the meantime while you do that?
Oh no.
Stu, you said you bought $40,000 worth. Was that in one wallet, multiple wallets?
The dev wallet. The dev wallet's initial acquisition of the supply.
Because I see 6,000 for the initial wallet, the dev wallet.
No, there was like combined purchases. It was over 6,000. I don't know what you're looking at, but it was like, it ended up being, close to 30,000, 25, 28, 30,000. It was something like that. I mean, I don't know exactly. I just know that I had to go to my bank account and make multiple transfers into the dev wallet to be able to pull it off because my bank account only allows me to like send $5,000 at a time or whatever Jewish restrictions are on that. So it was multiple transactions.
Okay, because I see the first 3 days only $6,000 in transactions.
Yeah, he only put 14,000 initially from his Coinbase.
See,
And he
so
claimed
boring.
150,000 he's in or something.
Well, somebody is saying 6,000. Somebody's saying 14,000. It's
I'm saying the first 2 days too.
Collectively. Yeah, no. I did it immediately. I locked up the supply immediately.
Anyone meme coining is a scam.
Stu, have you got evidence that you put in 35, 40,000 either via SourceScan or something else?
I mean, I would have to go look at my bank accounts or something, but I just know that. I mean, I know for certain because I had
just
to make
know
these multiple different transactions. And then I'm on the phone with Andrew and he's like, well, that's not enough supply to lock it. So I had to go back and buy more.
No,
and
but it should be right to your dev wallet. What do you mean you have to go to your bank?
We're gonna get
It should be your Coinbase going
into the Charlie Kirk thing right now.
Where's the evidence?
After this?
I'd like to see the evidence that you're in $150,000, my friend. Where's that evidence?
My
Keep
friend.
saying it. Where's the $150,000 that you're in of your own money? I don't see any transactions of anything going from Coinbase to your dev wallet anywhere close to 150,000.
okay, I know that. Okay, you got to just slow down and listen to what I'm saying and what I've always said.
Slow down.
I'm into this project for a collective $100 and some odd $1,000, 120, 130. I'm into this project for that. Between buying out of my own pocket, all of the boosts, all of the Dex ads.
All right.
All of the website.
I don't want to. Hold on. Are we dropping listeners? We're dropping listeners. We're going to shut this down.
Videos.
We're going to shut that down and maybe play some highlights another day and get into the Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk, what we call it, not a scandal, drama. This is the leak. I'm not sure how she got it from what appears to be a Telegram chat group. We're going to cover
Archie sent
Candace
$5 listening to PPL
revealing
like
it.
BB and Barry Weiss grates on my nerves. Martin Luther was 100% right. Keep on trucking.
Martin Luther was an idiot that thought that they killed God. His problem with Jews was that they didn't bow down to the Messiah that was supposed to conquer the Goy. He wasn't right. I see him as like a fanatical rabbi, just the other side, a mirror image of the fanatical rabbi. Anyway, I don't know what kind of listener is chiming in saying Martin Luther was right. Martin Luther wanted the whole world to worship the King of the Jews. I would not consider that. Let me read exactly what you said here again. 100% right. Yeah, no. He believed in the Bible, so he's not 100% right. Thank you, Archie, though. Apologize if I'm misinterpreting that. Okay, here's the text. We're going to cover it, and we'll just let her reveal it. 79,009.8 million views on just this clip alone, let alone on our YouTube channel. Probably has 500,000 views. I'll go look.
So Charlie writes in this group chat, just lost another huge Jewish donor.
This was Robert Shillman, I believe. Bob Shillman, a big Zionist donor, Jewish.
$2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Somebody writes, ugh. Charlie writes, Jewish donors play into all of the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. And somebody writes, a donor writes, please do not.
Hold on. So you're telling me because
never happened before.
What's going on? A Jewish donor pulls out $2 million. So now he's not going to be pro-Israel anymore. So he wasn't pro-Israel just because he thought they were God's people and they were morally in the right and they had the defensible moral high ground, but because he was getting paid by donors, or because one Jewish donor or a couple Jewish donors didn't want him to invite Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens to an event, he's not pro-Israel anymore? Is he venting here? Is this a joke? Is he only pro-Israel because he's getting millions of dollars from Jewish donors? He says they're playing into the stereotype. If you're leaving because the Jews aren't paying you their shekels anymore, I think that also means Charlie Kirk is playing into the stereotype of being a sellout Shabbos Goy traitor propagandist that's being paid to be pro-Israel. I thought he was a sincere believer, but he's going to say he's going to leave the pro-Israel cause because of this? Because a couple Jewish donors bully you, that means you're not pro-Israel anymore? What about all the rhetoric? What about all the Hasbara training you're doing with these rabbis? Charlie Kirk, who wrote in his letter to Netanyahu, he called himself a surrogate of Israel.
Sent $5 on Rumble. Are you shadow banned? I have notifications turned on and I only saw you were streaming because of X, and then when I opened Rumble I had to type in your channel name to get here.
I don't know. You watch the collapse of streaming right now? You're confusing me, Amalek Defamation League.
And somebody writes, a donor writes, please do not invite Candace. That might feel good short term, but it's not good long term, in my opinion. Like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions, that nasty free will thing.
How do we verify the text? They're confirmed. We're going to play the second in a minute from the guy that's in the thumbnail, this guy. Andrew Colvett, Charlie Kirk's executive producer, confirms that it's real.
That God bestowed on us makes life frustrating at times after the dust settles a bit, maybe. So again, this is 48 hours before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. He was very clear and he was very explicit, and he did not back down. Not in that Hamptons.
48 hours.
Nor in.
Black Dot Viking sent $10. Been listening 10 years.
Yes.
First time supporter.
All right. Quick. Better late than never,
Explain
Black
manufacturing
Viking.
consent in 2025 and 30 seconds. No nuance.
What was that? You want me to describe manufacturing?
Archie sent $5. I'm really talking about the lies of the Jew. No offense taken. My skin is thick. Your details about Luther are appreciated.
Yeah. he sensed there was something up going on at the very minimum, right? He was like, what is it? This one.
They're up to something over there. I can smell it.
Yeah, at the very minimum, he was off base, but
Explicit, and he did not back down.
Oh, hold on, I
Hampton's
missed a
meeting,
super
which they're
chat,
all
too.
lying about, nor in this text thread. I'm not going to reveal the names of the other 7. Actually, you know what? I disagree with myself 4 seconds ago. Let's just throw in Josh Hammer for funsies. He's on this chat, okay?
Nameless
Josh Hammer, huh?
Sent $150. Thanks for all you do.
Whoa!
Glad I caught you live today. Excited for the book. Please don't forget an audio version.
Oh, I will do the audio version for sure. I love audiobooks. Thank you so much for the big dono.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
That's amazing. We smashed the goal already. You guys are incredible. Nameless, formerly KFD. Thank you so much. Archie also, Black Viking, said explain manufacturing consent in 2025 in 30 seconds. No nuance. Manufacturing consent is programming people to consent to agendas that they want. That's how I would describe it. How do they do that? Through media propaganda, through information, through social media algorithms, through influencers and their propaganda, through religion and prophecies, manufacturing consent, through all different types of techniques, all different types of propaganda. She pulls a Kanye here. She's like, I'm not going to say who it is. I'm not going to name any of the people that were in the chat group. One of the people in the chat group must have leaked it to her. I don't know how else she got it. And before they confirmed it, I was wondering, like, did somebody just make up a fake screenshot and send it to her tip line and it's just some anonymous source? I wonder if she'll say where she got it eventually. But I love how she pulls the Kanye. He's like, I'm not going to say who my doctor was. He was Jewish.
Myself 4 seconds ago. Let's just throw in Josh Hammer for funsies. He's on this chat, okay?
For funsies, she's like Josh Hammer. She's like,
Jew, guilty, you're Jew, doesn't matter.
That's funny. Okay, here he is confirming it's real. Shout out Nameless, formerly KFD, for the big dono, breaking the goal. You guys are incredible.
But I did share it with some. But I want to take the start of this show to address some of the things that have been going around on public, namely about a group text chain that has been made known and released by Candace.
So there, Edom sent $5, so Candace is claiming to one of the TPUSA chiefs corroborating.
Yeah. Her and Ian Carroll are trying to like implicate the TPUSA team. They're doing a lot of insinuating of stuff going on, of them not asking questions or being involved in some cover-up.
But I want to take the start of this show to address some of the things that have been going around on public, namely about a group text chain that has been made known and released by Candace Owens. And I just want to...
Made known reminds me of, in my book, the Greek word for Jesus being revealed or made it's made known. Like he's made known from the prophetic scriptures. He's made known through like the revelation of the Holy Spirit and the scriptures.
Address it head on because, that was a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. And I want to go into it because I actually am really excited that the truth is out there. I first want to say the reason I didn't share that screen grab publicly is because it was a private exchange. And I felt like it didn't necessarily comport with things that were already public.
It's a private exchange where he's telling a bunch of Jews in a group chat that he's, what did it say? Done it. Well, I want to get it exactly right. What was it? He's been left no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause, and he's assassinated 48 hours later. What would that mean? If people think Israel did it, they had 48 hours to pull this off, and to get the whole cover up and everybody on board with the cover up. That would kind of be the implication.
I wanted to not betray my friend's trust in that way. But I did share it with some people in government because it happened really quick. It was, it took 33 hours for authorities to get their suspect.
He did share it with their government. Like, hey, it might have been some Jew. It might not even be like Netanyahu in Israel. It could have just been like Shillman or somebody. I'm not saying it was Shillman by any means. I'm just saying, like, can't regular billionaires that just love Israel call a hit on somebody also? But I don't know. The way they did this, it's not like you called a hit. It's not like this Shillman had some PI get in a Discord chat and convince this. I don't know. You see what I'm saying, though? Like, unless they already had stuff planned before, they had it planned already, and he just happened 48 hours before to say that, and they said, "Okay, go for it." Okay, they had their eye on him. He's like, he better not turn. They had his shit tapped. They're like, he better not turn. After all we've did for him, they better not turn on us. And then 48 hours before, they're like, okay, it's a go.
They prophesied the plan ahead of time, so they had more than 48 hours before he even knew he was going to turn. Jews are omnipotent.
Yeah, I'm just trying to war game this. I'm just thinking out loud. Guys, no, it's not fake. He's saying it's confirmed real. He says it's authentic. So it's like they already were kind of planning it and setting it up, and they're like, okay, he finally turned. He's non-compliant. We've lost him. Time to turn him into a martyr and use his legacy to do pro-Israel stuff. And 48 hours later, it happened. If it was a conspiracy, that I imagine that's how it would have gone down.
And in those first moments, we wanted no stone unturned. We wanted to leave nothing unturned. So I shared it with a few people. Don't know where it went from there, apparently.
Got to Candace Owens.
So one of the reasons, Blake, that I'm glad to have this now public.
If somebody's sharing these clips with Candace Owens, that must mean there is somebody else on the inside that thinks Israel's behind it, probably. But, like, are we supposed to believe that everybody that Charlie surrounded himself, they're all, like, bloodthirsty temple cultist pro-Israel psychos, that everybody around them is involved or scared, intimidated into silence, that nobody's speaking out, that they think there's something real shady going on?
It was not mine to share publicly, but one of the criticisms we've received is that we don't care. We're not investigating every lead. We're not looking under every stone, and that somehow we're just like, sweeping things under the rug. And when I say that we want justice for Charlie more than anybody else, I really mean it, and no stone unturned. I mean, I don't know if you want to chime in on that part alone, but I have more to say.
Yeah, it has been so frustrating to have people blow up about this. Yeah. And I've certainly stated publicly, the reason I haven't weighed in on things is I am an eyewitness to events, and they've said, don't comment on things because anything you say can mess that up. I don't want to mess up any trial for the person who did this.
That's 1,000% right. And I will say I wasn't an eyewitness. I was not there. I flew to Utah immediately to be with.
Yeah, all the conspiracy people that are like, well, why haven't they revealed that yet? Why haven't we got that video yet? At least I'm hearing all these people say that the reason for that is because the trial and the prosecutors and the government and the police get all that information. They're not releasing it out to you on the internet to quell the conspiracy theorists that want to see every little detail, but that it comes out during the trial and after the trial so they don't compromise the prosecution. I mean, pretty sure that is how the real world works.
Family and the team, but I was not an eyewitness. So there's that. But I am aware.
Yeah, of course. We played all the clips and met several shows of Charlie progressively becoming more critical of Israel, for sure.
So under it, I'm set $5. Several things don't end up with official story. But biggest so far for me is the claim of a 30-6 lodging in the neck. And its revelation is very damning.
It is. Like, Owens and some of these people have been doing real kooky stuff where it's like, look, there's a palm gun, or like zoom in on a blurry image, like, look at this guy, he grabs a thing and hands it off, or look, the trap door shooting, or like all these forensics and where the bullets came from and stuff. But I mean, the text messages with the kid seem sus. The bullet getting lodged inside also is questionable. And then now this too. The drama continues.
As spokesman for Turning Point USA, which is another hat I wear, the things I say, I'm cognizant of the fact that things I say could negatively impact an ongoing investigation. All right. But I will weigh in specifically on this.
Big.lips.and.mud.flaps sent $5. Thanks, Adam. How do I make friends in 2025 without accidentally joining a narrative?
You can have friends and not join a narrative. That's such a weird thing. Join a narrative. Do you mean like friends online? Can you be friends with a Christian without joining the Jesus narrative? Like, yeah. I'd say, yeah, you could. I've got some Christian friends. Christians that I'm friendly with. If that's what you mean. I don't know. I don't really understand the question, to be honest. Love the username, though. Big lip mud flaps. Amazing.
This issue of Israel, because I know there's a lot of fascination. And I just want to say that.
Yeah, All the World is a Stage by Mossad. Good point, Frog Eyes. A lot of inconsistencies. Yeah, so I think there's reasonable theorizing and speculation, but there's also, and almost inevitably, if there is a conspiracy, the internet is gonna be flooded with a bunch of the kookiest stuff ever.
We have to let free speech be our North Star here. Okay, Charlie was adamantly free speech, and I am not personally going to impugn anybody's character who is asking questions and looking for answers. All right, and I will say that text chain is consistent with public frustrations that he voiced many times. And I know, Blake, you were in the trenches on a lot of this stuff because we were workshopping how we were going to do the tour and what he's going to get asked about Israel.
Yeah, so clearly you get frustrations. Like, I'm caught in between a rock and a hard place with like people on both sides. Charlie was too. He's got Jewish donors breathing down his neck, and then he's got groypers biting him at the ankles, right? So you're like squeezed from both sides. Whereas like one side attacks me and is always calling me, too anti-Semitic, too racist, all these other things like that, Nazi, white supremacist. And the other side is like, you're not racist enough, you're Jewish. And, it's almost inevitable no matter where you're at, you're going to be kind of attacked from both extremes. And in his situation, it was billionaire Jewish donors and groypers and anti-Israel people online, and he to have credibility.
I'm afraid that courts are as fake as democracy. Derek Chauvin was convicted by media and threats from BLM.
True.
Mobs rule.
And for Charlie to maintain any credibility, he would have to cave and shift his message a little bit to at least be, something that he could defend. But the Jews could have just been pressuring him so much that he really did get frustrated with them and said he's had enough. He doesn't want any of your, he doesn't want your money if you're going to tell him he can't have conversations with Tucker Carlson or Dave Smith or Candace Owens maybe even, although I don't think he really wanted to bring Candace back, but only said that to probably spite them as a threat or something.
And this is consistent with things that he told his friends, people that are, in the wider movement about his wrestle that he was going. And so I just want to say, like, what is the truth about the way Charlie felt about Israel? Well, it's
and all of that could be true and is almost very believable and inevitable. And he still could have also gotten killed by a leftist because the leftists were celebrating and would do something like that. I saw a video today. Some guy went up on the roof. He went to the school and went up on the roof and showed how easy it was to get to the spot where he took the shot from too. That was interesting. Yeah, the stuff with the wife, I feel like is a little speculative and circumstantial and
on Rumble.
Very conspiratorial.
Genes want to focus purely on truth. That's a weakness when fighting the Jews, who are willing to lie. If the Kirk conspiracies are hurting Israel, it's a good thing, even if false.
That's a fun. I like that super chat. Thank you, Funny Truth. Perfect name, The Funny Truth. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm wrong, and all of the lies and the low IQ anti-Semitism won't backfire horrendously. But I'm not holding my breath for that. I still am not convinced by that. I still see them firmly in control, and I see this almost just empowering and solidifying their control even more. They could flip the switch and all this can get shut down on TikTok and X at any moment. And I think it's being loud.
Complicated, and it's nuanced, and it was a wrestle that was going on for months, and it's probably somewhere between the BB letter and the text group text.
I don't even think there's a between about it. I think those are entirely consistent with the exact same worldview. Yes. Charlie was not hiding things from people. People are going to try to make you fixate on a particular quote or a particular line to make you think that there was something hidden. There was nothing hidden about Charlie's views on Israel. Like Charlie, I worked with Charlie on every major issue that we talked about, immigration, abortion, the transgender stuff.
They really got, what is this, Clarence Thomas?
All the time. It was in the news all the time. People cared about it a lot. He cared about it a lot. Just before the shooting happened, I finished reading, this is a 700-page book about the history of the Israel-Palestine conflict. I read this
called Victims.
Because Charlie said, Blake.
Hold on, what is the name of it? Real Victims? What does that say? What is that word? Rejected? Something victims. All I can see is victims. He's like, I read this 700-page book about how the Jews are victims.
Really well versed on this, so you can help me whenever it comes up. And
my rabbi gave it to me.
Of your head.
Yeah.
So I read it for that reason. If you want to know Charlie's views on the Gaza war, he wanted the war to end. He didn't want America to take Palestinian refugees. He was annoyed when people advocated that. He didn't want American troops on the ground there or with any other war. And he was upset when he saw stories about churches being damaged or Christians being killed. But at the same time, he recognized...
He doesn't care about the blown-up Muslim Palestinian kids, but the churches, that's the red line.
Hamas started the war. Hamas could end the war. Israel ultimately represented European civilization. Hamas represented Middle Eastern barbarism. And Hamas were the chief evildoers, and people who supported them were almost always supporting them for these bad, like, anti-civilizational reasons.
Yeah.
That's what his view was, and he was public about that. And then, as it continued, Charlie talked to young people all the time. He could see what was going on the internet. He could see among young conservatives there was a...
Dude, this is so weird. They're carrying on with this show. They're addressing conspiracies on all of these shows. Like, he gets killed, and it's not even about, like, his legacy or his work anymore. It's all about answering the conspiracy theories. Netanyahu addresses the conspiracy a bunch of times also. This is so bizarre.
Shift to be hostile to Israel. There was a shift big time on the left, but it was also visible on the right. He could tell anti-Semitism was rising in America, and that upset him. Charlie was public about this. He loved Israel, he cared about Israel, and he cared about how that... Well, and he wanted to help the pro-Israel movement.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the crazy part now. Okay, we're going to play that. Is that the same clip?
That would make him angry. He would say this, yeah, as you say, this is moral blackmail. And he's a...
Okay, this is a different clip. Look at this, though. This is crazy. This does not look good, Josh Hammer. Okay? Look at the date on this. September 9th. Charlie Kirk was killed on September 10th. This was one day after Charlie Kirk, who Josh Hammer was in that group chat, according to Candace Owens. This is so crazy. He goes and digs up an old tweet of Donald Trump from 2013 and retweets it and says based, which is trying to talk like one of these Christian internet e-crusaders or a groyper using the term based. And look at this. Donald Trump says should be public execution for all to see. You will end this bullshit fast. And Josh Hammer says based. And the next day was Charlie publicly executed. This was perhaps his retweet that Josh Hammer did right after he saw Charlie Kirk in the group chat saying he's leaving the Israel cause. He's left with no choice to... What did it say exactly?
He had with
leaving no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause, and then Josh Hammer tweets out this? Then he gets publicly executed? Even if this is, let's just say this is a coincidence, which it could be, I guess, does not look good. None of this looks good at all. Whether or not they did it, it looks bad. That's for sure. And I don't think the Charlie Kirk truthers are going to go away. I think I said right when it happened that this is going to be like JFK in like decades from now. If we're around decades from now, it'll be still conspiracies about this. And the Jews are probably going to be all over the news like they are right now, talking about the blood libels and the poisoning the wells and the Passover blood matzah and the Charlie Kirk theories. Pretty crazy, though.
So Charlie writes in the script.
There's the clip. We played already. Okay, what else do we have here? On Tucker Carlson being canceled.
With people. He did disagree with Candace on the Israel issue. He disagreed with Tucker on the Israel issue. But he also recognized Tucker had positions they agreed on. Tucker was a useful voice in the conservative movement on many things. And so he invited him to events, and they were popular events. And so he would react. Sometimes people would just say, yeah, don't invite him, or we're going to, cut off some large donation. And that would make him angry. He would say this, yeah, as you say, this is moral blackmail. And he's this Scottish guy. He's combative. His reaction to that is, the classic, like, screw me, no, screw you, that sort of thing.
He had, and it's one of my favorite parts about Charlie is just how defiant.
Candace was apparently wrong about she made a claim 150 million from Netanyahu in Israel that he turned down. And it turns out it was 2 million from, unless there's more that we don't know about that we haven't seen the proof of. It was just 2 million from Shillman, I've seen stuff about Shillman funding a lot of right-wing influencers. It's pro-Israel Shillman.
An independent he was. Yeah, he was never going to
be. He could not be controlled by other people.
You could not buy him. He was not bought and paid for. You could not control him with money. It just wasn't.
Dude, he started getting the big Zionist money when he was like 18 years old. He was getting paid and made famous by Zionist donors for a decade.
The way he was wired, he didn't actually care about money that much.
And so what's going on here? What is going on here?
Easy to not care about money when the guy was a multimillionaire, right?
Can look up what the text say. What is going on is Charlie, as I mentioned, he loved Israel. He cared about Israel. He cared about the Holy Land. And he was aware there was a surge of anti-Israel sentiment on the right. Charlie thought seriously about this issue and was trying to chart a path forward for people who were sympathetic to Israel. He was playing the good cop here. He was saying, you guys don't realize how bad it could potentially get. You have to change your PR. That's why he writes a letter to Bibi. You are losing the PR war. You need to change how you do your PR. You need to change your messaging to the American right. You might need to change what you expect from us.
Yeah, it's like, I could see him getting pissed that Jews would call him anti-Semitic or pull funding when he was such a good Shabbos goy for them. He's like, you don't even understand what he's trying to do. He's playing the good cop. He's trying to stop the Groypers. There's a clip of Josh Hammer. I'll look for it. I think I can find it. Josh Hammer, who says that all Europeans have a hatred for Jews in their DNA. Josh Hammer said that Charlie Kirk was the biggest thing keeping the Groypers at bay.
Going to be able to count on just, for example, unlimited military aid from America. That's just not going to be tenable going forward. So maybe it has to be a more passive relationship. Maybe you need to give more support towards America. Some more support towards America in, for example, opposing Islamic migration into America. That's one thing he thought we could ally on. And he was trying to do all of this because he cared about the relationship and wanted to chart a way forward on it. And he would feel angry and upset when people would react to this by blowing up and suggesting he was an anti-Semite or a hater. He would get angry about that because he knew it was untrue. And then he would...
Because he was one of the top propagandists in the country, especially with young people, for Israel. And it still wasn't good enough. It's so crazy that a few years ago, I showed this in one of the past streams. A few years ago, Charlie was complaining on Twitter about being called anti-Semitic. And I said, in the replies, no matter how much you do, it'll never be good enough, Charlie. Amazing.
Sometimes vent about this.
Yeah.
He would vent about this to people who understood that, who are pro-Israel people who shared his view on that issue.
Well, exactly. And just why I, didn't share this publicly, it was because this was a private message between Charlie and some people, some Jews and non-Jews, where he was, frustrated. He was frustrated. And that would have felt like a betrayal to my friend because he never said anything like that publicly in like a show, right? He said things with
he did.
That were very, like, we just played them.
He never said something as like final, like he's leaving the Israel cause. He's left no choice. I keep forgetting exactly what it was. What it was, left no choice. Where is it? There it is. Leaving no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Because a Jewish donor tried to bully him. A few of them did. Does not look good. Oh, and wait till we get to the geofencing thing too. That's okay.
Went on Alex Clark's show, and I felt like I did a faithful job of expressing what I believed his genuine feelings were.
Watch this one now. Here's Josh Hammer.
Nick Fuentes, that whole... The folks who are criticizing Charlie from a pro-Israel perspective because, he didn't go far enough, or maybe he wasn't perfect, maybe he didn't say everything that I would say or Ben Shapiro would say, fine. I mean, I understand that. Perfect. But I think, felt that he sometimes had to be a little critical of Prime Minister Netanyahu or something there to try to maintain credibility with younger folks, with millennial NG. I think he thought that if he would go kind of full Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, I'm not picking on Ben and Mark, they're both good friends. I'm just saying, hypothetically, I think Charlie thought that if he would have gone there, he would have probably lost credibility. And the reality is, Shabbos, that there was probably no single person in America, which is the point that you're correctly making, there was no single person in America who did more to keep Nick Fuentes, that whole Groyper neo-Nazi crew, literally no one did more to keep them at bay than Charlie Kirk. No one. And it is a massive issue that I am very concerned about in his absence. In fact, here in Florida, we're a Nazi crew, literally no one did more to keep them at bay than Charlie Kirk. No one. And it is a massive issue that I am very concerned about in his absence. In fact, here in Florida, where I live, the rabbi where I go to synagogue, knew that Charlie and I were friends, and he called me, within minutes of.
We lost our top goy.
In the news, this is actually one of his very first things he said to me.
Was he still the top goy, or was he being defiant? Was he being defiant? Did they lose him? Did they want to? It's like blood in, blood out. They give you tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe even over the 10 years. You don't get to say no. You don't get to bite the hand that feeds you.
Thought as to what happens to that kind of Nick Fuentes Groyper energy from there. I wish I had a good answer. I do not know what the answer is there. Look, his widow, Erica Kirk, has delivered numerous extraordinarily powerful speeches there. I have no doubt that she is the CEO. She's the right CEO, the right chairperson for Turning Point USA. We will see where she takes the direction from here. For what it's worth, I have no reason for thinking that Erica does not share Charlie's sentiments on these matters. If I'm not mistaken, I think she and Charlie actually met in Israel on a Christian pilgrimage retreat of some sort there, which is kind of an interesting, an interesting anecdotal fact, amidst all this conversation about his legacy there.
Anecdotal fact that the Charlie Kirk truthers are also seizing upon to say, oh, look, it's a set-up, arranged marriage. She's military. She's, what was the Christian group? She had like a necklace. Guys, tell me. She had a necklace on, and they were saying it was like, what's the name of that group? I want to say Martyrs, but that's not what it's called.
Pete Rules 247 sent $5 on Rumble. Hey, Adam.
Malta.
Although it is great that most
They're
people
saying she's
are
Knights of Malta.
J-pilled, it scares me that most of these people follow plants like Fuentes. If it fails, it might be over. But I hope not.
Great, most people are, hold on. Great, most people are very J-pilled. It scares me most people follow. Yeah, they're not J-pilled if they're worshiping the J, the king of the J's. That's the reality. You're not based in red-pilled and J-Q'd if you worship Yahweh, the God of Zion.
So we'll see what happens there, but it is no doubt a big loss, and no doubt the whole Groyper wing feels emboldened right now, tragically.
And that is true. Charlie died. He was already like losing control of TPUSA to the Groyper faction of the youth, pretty much, especially online. And ever since everybody was tweeting like, oh, now that Charlie's gone, you get Nick Fuentes, or now Nick Fuentes is going to fill the vacuum. They're trying to push forward that one little white kid that's super kosher. He's going on a tour and stuff. I forget his name. It's some weird name. I covered him a couple streams ago. But Fuentes has been having the biggest streams ever. He has stepped into the mantle. He has taken the mantle as like the leading conservative voice of the youth. It used to be the battle between him and Charlie, and then you're telling me Israel took out Charlie but not Nick and left Nick to fill the gap? They only wanted to do that if they wanted a huge rise in anti-Israel and anti-Semitism. So that's like not 4D chess, 5D chess. Okay. Well, okay, now the geofencing. Look at what he admits on Fox News. He says they tracked all of the phones. I remember when I first heard that before we got this geofencing news. I'm like, that's a little crazy. They're tracking all the phones that are there. What kind of Israel tech are they doing running over there?
Stadium in Glendale. Break a little bit of news on your program, Jesse. Our partners that do sort of geotagging with devices, they told us that they
partners. I'm seeing people claim it's Israeli companies or Zionist American Israel connected companies. Haven't seen. I'm not sure if there's proof out for that yet.
Geotagging with devices.
We'll see.
They told us that they tracked over 277,000 devices in the vicinity of State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Wow. 277,000. So that just gives you an idea of the scale of humanity out there. But
277,000 pagers ready to blow. No. Oh yeah, like this.
And you have cell but do you have cell phones? And you have cell phones here? Yeah. You're holding a piece of Israel right there. You know that?
Goy. Hey, 277,000. Hey, all the churches, they're doing the same thing at churches, apparently, that they're tracking.
A lot of the cell phones, the medicines, the foods. You eat cherry tomatoes?
Hey, you got a pager? Hey, Goy, you all got phones? You got pagers in your pocket. Right? Okay, now here is Redacted talking about this. Hold on. Something disturbing has come to light regarding Charlie Kirk's memorial. Days before Charlie Kirk's memorial, Israel signed a $4 million contract with a California company called Show Faith by Works. That same company, Show Faith by Works, was behind what is described as the largest Christian geofencing campaign in U.S. history. After the memorial, Andrew Colvett bragged about the 277,000 phones in the stadium. 2 days prior to Charlie was assassinated, he lost a major donor because he wanted quote-unquote anti-Semites to speak out. The math isn't adding up. Here's the Show Faith by Works Christian Education and Israeli Information Campaign. Largest Christian church geofencing campaign in history. Geofencing isn't something that I've heard too much about. You ever seen geofencing in the news? Has anybody ever heard anybody warning about geofencing? My understanding is it tracks the phone. If you go to church or if you go to some event, it's able to pick up your phone and then target you with like pro-Christian Zionist propaganda. Funded by the Israel Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Show Faith by Works, Clock Tower, these are other Zionist organizations. Christianity is a national security threat. I know, we're trying to like warn people about the churches and how kosher Christianity is, and meanwhile they're geo-fencing, tracking, and sending targeted propaganda to all the phones. There's your manufacturing consent. No greater mind control operation in history. Activity. Combat low American evangelical Christian approval of Israel. Use biblical arguments to highlight importance of Israel to the Jewish people and the Jewish people to Christians. Educate. Dude, they got targeted marketing campaigns for Christian Zionist propaganda.
Thunderstorm 9 sent $5 on Rumble. When people pay you $85 million, they probably want things their way.
Right. Yeah. Oh, you thought that you were getting millions of dollars over all these years and you got to have independence and didn't have to do what we say? I don't think so, buddy. Right, Lane. There's nothing they hate more than Christianity. That's why they're constantly pushing Christianity as their greatest tool of mind control, to create their greatest Shabbos Goy Noahide supporters. Educate Christians on the historical importance of Israel and its significance in the region. We saw another Brad Parscale, Trump's former campaign manager, has signed up to be a lobbyist for Israel to promote. Is that the one with $7,000 everybody's memeing about? $7,000 per post for these pro-Israel influencers? Increase awareness of Palestinian ties to Hamas and support for terrorism within evangelical populations. Counter new and evolving pro-Palestinian messaging as the global campaign. Okay, largest geofencing and Christian targeting campaign. Digital support. Geofence and digitally target. Is geofencing what Palantir and NSO Group and Cambridge Analytica are doing? Geofence and digitally target Christians who attend any U.S. megachurch in our target markets and beyond, using digital tools to identify and show pro-Israel, anti-Palestinian messaging to U.S. Christians and Catholics. And this is why the algorithms give a huge boost to everything kosher goy slop, whether it be pro-Israel or anti-Israel. As long as it's kosher on the Judeo plantation goy slop, they win. Using digital targeting to redirect Christians to websites where pro-Israel media can be found and forwarded. Large-scale Christian outreach and education to individual Christians and Christian leaders, pastors, and professors. Geofencing is shoveling shit down your throat, right? Isn't this creepy? 10/7 experience. They got Holocaust museums for 10/7 is what this looks like. And then when we'll be like, oh, that's Hasbara, they'll be like, that doesn't exist. That's an anti-Semitic. That's JIDF. That's Hasbara. That's $7,000 deposited into your account for that tweet. They'll be like, Qatar is propaganda. Qatar from everywhere. Meanwhile, they've been doing this since day one. A mesh network. Possible Christian celebrity. Oh, there's the Noahide. What's his name? The actor John Vout. Hey, get all your Jesus celebrities, your Jesus influencers. Number of Christian megachurches. There's 220 megachurches in California. I had to start going to some megachurches and seeing what's going on. Once the book is done, I'm going to start doing some church investigations. Yeah, Angelina Jolie's dad. Targeted locations in densely populated Christian communities. Dude, this is like Orwellian 1984 type of social engineering and manufacturing consent and religious brainwashing. Nothing they hate more. It's actually their greatest weapon to brainwash people.
On Rumble. Geofencing sounds like putting a shock collar on your dog.
I know. Am I geofenced? How does somebody geofence you, by the way? Do you have to give your phone number to the church? Or do they set up a like radio emitter or receiver that like picks up your phones? It hacks your phone with like the Israeli Stingray system. I have so many questions here. Who talks about this? Has anybody heard anybody talking about this that knows all the deets? Wow. Oh, here's let's hear Ian Carroll talk about it.
So here on whatever page this is, 23 out of 86, item, targeted geofencing.
Through radio waves.
Right there. Description. Largest geofencing and targeted Christian data. Target and track your phone at church. And then when you leave church, they will continue to track you and send you customized Israel ads using Israeli money to back that campaign.
Dude.
That's why we have FARA. It's
social engineering for the sheep. Religious indoctrination, brainwashing to love Israel more. Remember Trump is like, we have to love Israel more. Max Blumenthal is doing a live on this right now.
So that they have to disclose shit like this. Imagine how many other FARA forms were not filed because AIPAC is not registered, because most of the Israel lobby is not registered. Why is this one registered? I assume because the
Candace Owens' stream about this from yesterday is 2.1 million views on YouTube.
Americans involved didn't want to go to prison. And so they said, we need to do this by the books and register it. That's what I assume. I haven't looked into that yet. But that is just a handful of the spice that is in this document. Because then they also have, they have a list of all of the churches that they are targeting with this digital.
Yeah. Don't worry, Goy. The Jews aren't trying to use religious propaganda to brainwash everybody, though. Like the literally State of Israel, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, funding these groups to geofence and selectively target you with all their propaganda. What do you think all of social media is? What do you think the explosion of Jews killed Jesus and Jesus wasn't Jewish getting all the most viral engagement is? A bunch of geofenced, low IQ Christ cucks. That's what's being engineered. That's what's been the consent that's been manufactured.
Digital geofencing, meaning they put down a digital fence in their application around the church building, and any device, any cell phone that goes inside that geofence, they track that phone, and they track your data, and they track you.
Who else? Like, is my phone just like been geofenced because of I've been to all different types of places? Like, I didn't even know this was a thing that somebody could set up something and then track your phone forever and target you with stuff. How is that possible? How can I check? Is there a setting on my phone to say, hey, have I been geofenced anywhere? Why is this something that I haven't heard more about? Isn't this kind of weird? We haven't heard more about this.
Your movement and your activity. If you go to any of these churches, Scottsdale.
Yeah, you go to McDonald's and you get a bunch of McDonald's ads. So McDonald's is geo-tracking.
Bible Church, North Phoenix Baptist Church, Northwest Community Church, Palm Valley Community Church, Palmcroft Baptist Church. It goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And they have this comprehensive list of all of the churches that they're going to target all across all these states.
Dude, I should go to some churches on the list.
Hawkshred sent $5 on Rumble. There is a backdoor built into all hardware. Intel Backdoor 2008.
I've heard that. I don't know how true it is. Wouldn't doubt it. Intel, Israel Inside. Need More Amalek says basically every single large business that advertises is doing this. That's what I'm saying. Like, you go into Walmart or Target, McDonald's, like every place you go, you get geo-tracked. That's wild.
The independent ones, they have analysis of how many people are at each church, how much conversion of payments from this budget into, you know, targeted messaging. How much will it cost per message? And then they have all of these slides just exposing what they're trying to do.
Wild. Anna Paulina Luna suggests that China could be behind the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And Laura Loomer is pushing that. Hold on. Loomer says, she tells me that she has received evidence that China funded one of the groups under FBI investigation for ties to Tyler Robinson's Discord activity, where he may have discussed his plans to assassinate Charlie Kirk. This seems like a huge stretch and a distraction. Why would China want to assassinate Charlie Kirk?
Foreign funding tie, but the question is which government. There's been a lot of questions as to whether there was foreign government involvement.
In which one?
In the assassination of Charlie.
Is Charlie and Steve Bannon anti-China? Is that why?
9 cent $5 on Rumble. The approval of the American public is literally a national security concern for Israel. Jews want everyone to love them, yet they won't invest in improving the country they depend on. They're scum.
This is a very scummy thing. Geofencing Christians' phones. How would all the Christians feel about that? Like, I ought to go to one of these churches that's on the list and say, how do you feel about being geofenced by Israel and then targeted with all of their religious propaganda so you support them? Wouldn't that be good? That'd be a good follow-up to the investigation.
Kirk, right?
Okay.
So, like, we're going to address these theories right now. Back during the ICE riots, do you remember all of that at the beginning of the year?
Mm-hmm.
Amalek says there's no evidence that they used Discord to plan the attack. Discord claimed they didn't. They haven't. Nobody's shown any proof that there was Discord. Some people were saying like maybe other people in Discord knew about it and didn't say anything.
A lot of people were like, where are all of a sudden these big violent riots coming from? Who's funding these organizations? We found out that there was a foreign funding tied to an individual by the name of Neville Singham, who's a multi-billionaire. And he made his billions by working with the communist Chinese government. And he would take, and he's not a registered agent, a foreign agent, which is a FARA violation. So he's taking these millions, funneling it into organizations like the Party of Socialism and Liberation, who then in turn create these very radicalized movements, but they're not even American in theory or funded by American people. They're actually funded by foreign governments. The irony in all this is that Neville Singham, not just to Mamdani's election, so like Jews from Mamdani, but he actually also has ties to funding the Party of Socialism, the Salt Lake City queer group, which is now being investigated with former knowledge on whether or not they knew Charlie would be assassinated, who had ties to the shooter. So I do think that there's a foreign funding tie, but the question is which government, and I think it's tied to the Chinese.
Interesting.
I mean,
like called the queer what?
Salt Lake City
Tied
queers.
to the Chinese.
Salt Lake City queers.
They're being investigated by the FBI. But if you look at the organization and where the funding comes from, I mean, not just them, they had ties to groups in Cuba and they are actually calling themselves terrorists. But not just that, they also have ties to the United Nations. So there's this aspect of a very pro-globalist and then a pro-Marxist movement to really sow discord and divide in this country. And that's why I recently posted on my social media, I was like, check out the bot farms that actually exist. And when you see all this shit talking on Twitter, make sure you're not arguing with the bot, because that's not like a fake thing. It happens. And so we have to realize that social media is being used to kind of stoke this divide. But in the instance of the shooter, Charlie Kirk was almost like a son to President Trump. Don Jr. will tell you was like his little brother.
Right.
Very close to J.D. Vance, very close to Kash Patel. So if you think for a second that there will be any amount of resource spared in his investigation, you're wrong.
Yeah. Is there a box on our phone where we can disable being geofenced? That would be nice. I can't believe geofencing isn't something that I've heard
because
more people.
I know
I'm going to
these
look up
people,
YouTube.
and I've seen the way that this administration has worked towards at least issuing some of the darkest secrets. For example, what happened with CIA and the connection to JFK's assassination. I've met with the director, but to, I think, really take into account that you have the family that is seeing all this stuff out there right now.
I hope that they get every single person involved. I definitely think that it's likely that more than one person knew about what was happening, because the Salt Lake City queer group immediately deleted their page. They're under investigation. There's a foreign funding tie there. For Tyler Robinson to say that Charlie was, hateful and that he just wanted to eliminate his hatefulness, where does that come from, right? Like, if you actually listen to the things that Charlie was saying and you don't clip it, you
the ADL
realize it was a very logical conversation that he was trying to have. If you don't agree with it, it's still not a reason to kill.
Okay. Before we get into the Christian section, here's geofencing.
Audience? Are you wasting your advertising dollars on people who may not be your target audience? Well, we have a solution you need. An innovative geo-targeting technology known as geofencing marketing. Unlike conventional advertising, geofencing advertising allows you to target people based on their physical activities and the places they go. You can serve static banner or video ads directly to people in very precise locations, all the way down to the contours of buildings, such as competitor locations.
So somebody could drive a car through your neighborhood and geofence you and then target you with
Archie sent $5 for sure. We are geotracked using cell towers, but Wi-Fi and Bluetooth also detects our phones. Jan 06ers were identified. Also watch 2000 Mules.
Wasn't that the Dinesh D'Souza movie about the election? Geogoyams, we're getting geo-tracked.
And even individual homes. This is how it works. When the location services on a mobile device or in a mobile app is turned on, our technology captures the device ID whenever a prospect walks into the virtual geofence we built. Once prospects are placed into our retargeting pool, we can serve your ads across hundreds of thousands of mobile apps and websites while those...
Yeah, digital stalking. That sounds like a better way to explain this.
Consumers are inside the geofence, and even up to 30 days or more after they left the geofence. The best part, through our conversion zone tracking technology, you can measure walk-in conversions, including those who walked into your physical location after seeing or clicking on your ads. You can use geofencing marketing for customer loyalty programs, competitor conquesting, event and conference targeting, and even layering some geofencing with connected over-the-top TV advertising campaigns. Geofencing marketing helps you drive more leads, elicit engagement, and improve your brand awareness. Make geofencing marketing part of your marketing strategy by contacting us today.
All right. Interesting. So that's what Israel is up to. Shoot. I think I'm going to have to take a little commercial break, guys. What should we play in the meantime for that? Let's see. 3 minutes. That's not long enough. I got to play a video for you guys and be back. I'm going to have to take a short break. We're 2 hours in. Let's play a little something and I'll be back shortly. Don't go anywhere. Let's see. Oh, why is there no long videos here? What's this?
So the Catholic Church would say...
Okay, we'll play this. Here's a highlight when I was on Backlash. See through it all clip for me. All right, I'll be back in a minute.
So the Catholic Church would say that Jesus was not ethnically Jewish.
No, they would say that he was not Jewish. He was Christian. The religion is named after him, for God's sake.
But again, we're talking about ethnically Jewish.
The first Christians who were all Jewish Christians, right? Think about that for just a minute. Mary, Peter, James, John, these are all Jews who accepted Jesus as Messiah. Jesus, although obviously he's the divine Son of God, is also himself a first century what? Jew. He's a rabbi. And so in closing, I just want to say to you that we Catholics, we need to be proud of our Jewish roots. We need to be proud of the Jewish tradition. And we need to recognize that one of the reasons that the early Jews converted in droves to the Christian faith is because of their Jewish roots, because they saw the scriptures through Jewish eyes. And they recognized that this whole structure of a kingdom with a king and a high priestly overseer and a priesthood and a temple and the sacrifices, all those things were not developed by God in order to be smashed and thrown into the trash when the new covenant came, but to be fulfilled in Christ, to be fulfilled in Peter and the apostles, and to be fulfilled ultimately in the Catholic Church, which he established.
The early Christian community was mostly Jewish people who then became Christians.
The original Judeo-Christian were the Jews that converted to Christianity.
You know, the first Christian community was Jewish. The apostles were Jewish. Jesus was Jewish. Think that the Jewish Messiah came, his name was Jesus.
Jesus Christ is the King of the United States of America!
You believe that Jesus walked the earth?
Yeah, I believe
he was a
person
real
of
person,
Jesus.
but also incarnated God.
Yes.
You know, and Jesus was Jewish.
My brother told me, he's like 10, 11 years old than us. He says, how can I be anti-Semitic? My Lord and Savior was a Jew. Yeah.
It's true.
Dollars.
So that was
Favorite
good.
Jew all time?
Favorite Jew? Jesus Christ.
Who's the most powerful Jew?
Interesting question. Jesus Christ. Jesus is the King of the Jews. He's the King of the world.
What do you think it is about the Jews? I mean, 3,000 years ago, they were a big deal. I mean, let's recognize there's something going on there.
Well, God chose them to bear the Savior.
It's because the promise is that the Savior will be born through the Jews to save the world. And that is what happened 2,000 years ago.
And how could you be anti-Semitic when Jesus was a Jew? Like, well, but Jesus was also God.
Not just, God in the Catholic worldview, but also as a Jewish figure, as born as a Jew, lived as a Jew.
It's a Jewish narrative. It's a biblical narrative from creation to fall to Israel to the Messiah. The compelling Jesus is the one who fulfills the story of Israel. Any form of anti-Semitism is morally repugnant. Go back to Pius XI, that we're all spiritually Semites, he said, in regard to Christians. So the popes have been really good and strong that condemns any form of anti-Semitism. So that's a very important theme. When Christians realize how Jewish their own religion is, when they realize how Jewish their own scriptures are, that we can't understand Jesus apart from it, I think that helps. Because a Christianity which has become anti-Semitic is going to tear itself apart. You open the first page of the New Testament, what do you find? Page 1 of the Gospel of Matthew. You find this lengthy, detailed genealogy of Jesus that takes you all the way through in a very loamy way, from Abraham all the way up to Jesus. And he can only be understood through this long history of Israel. He will reign on the throne of David, his father, and his reign will be without end.
So one of the things that you've been talking about a lot is what you call the re-Judaization of Christian learning and Christian faith, the reconnection with the Old Testament, because after all, Jesus was a Jew, and not only was a Jew, was a practicing Jew. I, as a Jew, have not only no problem with people saying, for example, Christ is king. I think that that's a good thing for Christians to say. I want Christians to do that because I think that for American society, more people need to declare who are Christian that Christ is king and go back to church.
So St. Paul had been Rabbi Shaul and knew all the great traditions of Judaism, saw Jesus as the fulfillment of the hope of Israel. You won't get anything about Jesus without getting the Old Testament. As Paul said, he's the yes to all the promises made to Israel. That means if you don't get Israel, you won't get him. When you divorce Jesus from Judaism, he turns into a teacher of timeless truth. He turns into a bland sort of moral exemplar. The Jesus who's grounded in Israel, who comes up out of Israel and is appreciated by the first Christians as the fulfillment of Israel, fulfillment of temple and Torah and prophecy, covenant. So when Jesus says at the Last Supper, this is the chalice of my blood, the blood of the new and eternal covenant, well, he's citing Jeremiah 31:31. The days are coming when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel, and I will write my law on their hearts. Well, see, we Christians tonight, as I record these words, it's Holy Thursday, and we celebrate the Eucharist. So what Jesus established that night, giving us his body and blood, and we eat his body and drink his blood, what's happening? The Torah is coming inside of us. The law is being written now in our hearts. Well, you won't get any of that unless you're averring to the Old Testament. And the readings I'm preparing for the liturgy tonight, they immerse us in that. The first reading, it's all about Passover. It's all about the temple. It's all about covenant, sacrifice, and so on. Without that, you won't get Jesus. You'll make him a bland figure.
Anti-Semitism contradicts the Catholic faith. Our Lord was Jewish. The apostles were Jewish. Everyone except for one of the authors of the New Testament was Jewish, and that would be Luke, who was a Gentile. Pope Francis in 2018 gave an address, and he said this: As I have often repeated, a Christian cannot be an anti-Semite. We share the same roots. It would be a contradiction of faith and life. Rather, we are called to commit ourselves to ensure anti-Semitism is banned from the human community. As to why some Christians are anti-Semitic, well, I would just say that anti-Semitism is not unique to the Christian faith. It is a evil that can be found among people of other religions or even of no religions at all. In the early history of the church, many Christians saw themselves as Jews. They saw themselves as a faithful Jew who had recognized the Messiah had come. So this was seen as an intra-Jewish dispute until much later as the church grew. But as I said, anti-Semitism is incompatible. Paul says in Galatians 3:28 that in Christ there's neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free. We're all one in Christ. And I also think that just some people buy into Jewish conspiracy theories because maybe they're disaffected, maybe they're struggling to pay the bills, or they're concerned about the fate of the world. And it's easy to blame a boogeyman than to recognize that the world is just a complicated and anxiety-inducing place. And so people can buy into these conspiracy theories and try to meld it to their faith. But I would recommend, if you would like a good book on a relationship between Judaism and Catholicism, there's a book called Salvation is from the Jews by Roy Schumann. Salvation is from the Jews. Roy Schumann.
I'd like to suggest this book by David Scheckelberg that says Salvation is of the Jews.
In a sign of...
All right, we're back. We're back. Thank you. Let's see. Did we lose any followers? None. We gained followers through the epic mix from See Through It All. Okay, where do we leave off? Geofencing. Here we go. Here we go. The new Archbishop of Canterbury, Sarah Mullally, named the first female Archbishop of Canterbury. Super leftist liberal leader of the Church of England. This is how we win. This is the way. This is the way. Dude, it's just, you're so cooked. Eastern Orthodox, Protestant, Anglican, Church of England, Pope, Zionist in America. Dude, I can't wait for the clips. I can't wait for the clips of her to come out. Deus Vult. We got the Pope blessing some ice for climate change and tweeting about anti-Semitism and more migrants. Imagine thinking the church is going to save England. Can't even save itself. Here we go. Hey, how to destroy Christianity in England. Remember all the videos we were playing of the England, all the people in the streets marching and what we got? The Christian revival in England. It's all like multi-diverse and multicultural. There's like an Indian guy up there chanting about Jesus. How do you destroy Christianity? Well, it's already meant to destroy. It's Jewish to begin with. But how do you destroy it even worse?
Put a chicken in and make her name it gay. It means put a chicken and make her fucking gay.
Bold strategy, Church of England. Bold strategy to fix Christianity. This is the future of pro-abortion, pro-LGBTQ, pro-mass migration, leader of the Church of England.
Put a chicken in and make her name it gay. It means put a chicken and make her fucking gay.
All right. We got Eddie Bravo sounding like a rabbi saying, Satan is influencing all the nations.
Now, doesn't it seem like Satan is like influencing all the nations? Now, doesn't it seem like Satan is like influencing all the nations?
Yeah, it's Satan. No, it's not the Abrahamics. It's not the Muslims and the Christians and the Jews that are running anything. It's the Satanists. It's the secret Satanists. It's Abramovich. It's spirit cooking. It's MTV Music Awards. Yeah, the Satanists, just like the Duganists, the Antichrist West, the Satanic West, just like the Kabbalah rabbis, the Esau Edom West, and Samael, the Satanic guardian angel of the West, and then the Christian conspiracy guys, Alex Jones, it's the Satanic globalists, Luciferians, Bilderberg, sacrificing to Moloch, right? It's all satanic. And what does that do? It leads everybody towards Rabbi Jesus and the King of Zion, the God of Zion, with this rhetoric.
Influencing all the nations. And now doesn't it seem like Satan is like influencing all the nations? And now doesn't it seem like Satan is like influencing all the nations? And now doesn't it seem like Satan is like
Yeah, bro, totally, man. Satan's like totally in charge. Dude, did you see that Katy Perry music video? Did you see Charlie Kirk's wife? She did the devil horns. Satanic panic. Hey, man, did you see Tucker talk about how the demons scratched him in his bed when he was sleeping with 4 dogs? Hey, man, all these AI tech people, man, they're like ushering in the Antichrist. And, yo, man, I think they're bringing back the AI gods that are going to rule the world and carry out revelations. I saw it on Tucker. Hey, man, you ever talk to the gray space aliens and reptilians and clockwork elves on weed, man, on DMT, man?
Am I missing anything?
It's the interdimensional potbelly goblins, bro. We're in a spiritual war, Brett, man. Hey, man, do you think the Bible's real and there's a firmament and a flat earth?
The Tucker laugh. Oh, demons are totally real, and we're definitely in a spiritual world, and everybody really hates Jesus and Christians so much. Okay.
And now doesn't it seem like Satan is like influencing all the nations? And now doesn't it seem like...
Dude, did you see Ozzy Osbourne ate the head off of a... Did you see, like, they promote, like, sorcery in Game of Thrones and, like, Harry Potter, and it's, like, it's all satanic, man. It's all satanic and Luciferian. I think they're eating babies in adrenochrome and the earth is flat, man. The Satanists have convinced the world that the earth is a globe and that we are not at the center of the universe created by God in his image.
Here for the Tucker laugh. Yeah, it's not Judaism and Christianity and all these different flavors of Messianic Judaism.
No, it's the Satanists that are really in charge. That's the answer, man. Yahweh and God and Jesus is the answer.
Snow globe Earth.
Human rights, democracy. There is no such thing as its freedom.
Hey, man, if you play Leonard Skinner backwards, I think you get demonic messages from the satanic realm. You ever listen to Leonard Skinner backwards on weed, man?
There is no such thing as democracy. Please stop listening.
I hate these videos. They do this with Myron from Fresh and Fit all the time. Somebody needs to make a cringe video of me with the bah, like a fake mock video where it's just like, you don't even say cool stuff. You just say stupid stuff and it's bah, bah. Am I the only one that hates these edits? Watch.
There is no such thing as its freedom. There is no such thing as democracy. Please stop listening to the mainstream media. Please stop listening to the Western world.
Only listen to the Jewish Bible. Get down on your knees for Rabbi Jesus.
Speaking about United Nations, human rights, this is evil. Nonsense. They have enslaved the human race under the banner of human rights.
We need to enslave the race under Yahweh and his Moshiach.
They have enslaved the human being under the banner of human rights. There is no freedom in the world.
You're slaves to Zion. You're brainwashed to believe in prophecies.
This prophecy is how they enslave us.
The world is placed in the bosom of Satan, the killer of mankind. The poison.
God created Satan so he could rule over the world until Jesus returns. Satan works for God to test you and tempt you and send you to hell if you don't believe in magical Jews.
Poisonous cobra.
Dude, we could make these all day. See through Amalek.
Satan likes to do things in disguise, in quietness, in the depth. But the Lord forced him to surface up. He wants humanity to see.
We're all evil and satanic and need to bow down to the King of the Jews. Bah. TikToking. It's a TikTok thing.
Opening the eyes of those who are willing to listen to Christ. Those who are willing to listen to Christ, he is opening your eyes. What has been happening in recent years, it is absolute satanic.
Oh, everything's satanic.
In the name of human rights, democracy, United Nation.
Satan is just the fictional boogeyman in the Jewish construct. Bah. All right. Everybody, now watch. You won't be able to watch one of those edits ever again without thinking of that. Christians can't wait for God's wrath of Edom. I'm just going to live my whole life as if I'm that living meme. And after it's like mic drop. Bam. After everything I say. I need that noise on the soundboard, and I'm going to start doing it on the show, on the soundboard. You're welcome. I hope you all love it.
Since the ancient Hebrew Republic, no one had as much freedom, as much opportunity, as much blessing and protection.
Goldfish attention span cuts, right? It's just like, so just like hypnotizes you. Oh, he said something. Like it electroshocks it into your brain. That's probably what it really is. That's some Kabbalah. That noise is Kabbalah Jewish magic, if anything.
Since the ancient Hebrew,
so we're gonna harness it and use it against them.
Republic, no one had as much freedom, as much opportunity, as much blessing and protection as the Christian constitutional American Democratic Republic, following the pattern of the scriptures. Now we've got to prove that we are who we say we are. And if we want to continue past the typical expiration date of 250 years, and we're right there right now, we have got to conserve and
I just realized I disabled Power Chat. Sorry if your Power Chats haven't been playing. We're back on with the Power Chats. Already smashed the goal. You guys are amazing for that.
They're nice.
But no wonder we probably been coming in and they haven't been playing.
Gain our biblical footing and go further and bring the blessing of the gospel to all the nations. Since the ancient Hebrew Republic, no one had as much freedom.
Oh, we better be good to the Jews or our Edom's going to be destroyed. Only last 250 years, and we're 249 years old. I guess Edom, 20,000 likes for all the Christ cucks ready for America to be destroyed by God. That's why. Dude, the Power Chats probably are going to start playing here in any second. I thought I pressed play. If not, I'll go manually do them. Let's see. Christianity is the number one thing that enables Jewish supremacy in the West. More from Josh Hammer.
Christians have to stand shoulder to shoulder. There is no future for us without the original people of the book, without this original kind of enduring reminder that God exists, that he is real, that there is truth, that there is a particular people that tries to live according to his laws. Western civilization does not survive without the Jews. Western civilization
does not survive without the Jews. Okay. Dude, I don't know why these aren't playing. I just did a play. I got one for Bifurcatio that's not playing. Maybe I need to refresh the whole thing.
Definitely does not survive without Christians who themselves built Western civilization there. And we know that because it is our holy books. It is the Bible, it is scripture that built this entire edifice itself. I mean, again, so much of what we take for granted there. I mean, even the notion of private property rights. I think a lot of Enlightenment thinkers, think that John Locke concocted property rights. Total nonsense. The entire notion.
Okay, I can't handle anymore. Sorry, I'm not going to torture you guys with that. Let's hear Fuentes. Need More Amlech says, this is peasant-brained thinking. Let's hear Fuentes talk about his faith, the difficulties in his faith in believing the Jewish fairy tales.
Is there anything you struggle with or is there anything that you struggle with in terms of your faith? I was raised Christian, but I have many questions and little faith in humanity's ability to keep stories straight.
Actually, do you struggle with worshiping a Jew as God?
Is there anything you struggle with or doubt in your own faith? Love the show, man. Thanks a bunch.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is hard to accept. That's where the faith comes in.
Yeah, it's all stupid. That's why you got to have blind, gullible, goy, sheep faith in the Jews. Just have faith that the Jews told you and believe them when they said a Jewish Messiah was born a virgin and raised from the dead. Just have faith that the Jews are telling the truth. These are the good Jews. You get to be in the covenant now, Goy. You get to be enslaved. I mean, saved. You're saved by Jesus, not enslaved. Not on your knees bowing in submission and dominion over you, and you're the footstool.
You know, the things.
Love the show, man. Thanks a bunch.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is hard to accept. That's where the faith comes in. You know, the things that I have perfect faith in are in Jesus Christ and his resurrection and
perfect
what that
faith
signifies, and a Trinitarian God, a triune God. Those are the things.
So politically correct.
The gospel story.
Oh, all the things that the church mandates you to believe as the number one dogmas. Oh, that's what you believe with 100% faith. Didn't I comment recently about how they always say 100%? It's like having the slightest bit of doubt is considered sinful to these brainwashed types.
And a Trinitarian God, a triune God. Those are the things I have absolute conviction in. The gospel story, the perfection of Jesus, all of that. The other stuff I have a lot of difficulty with. A lot of it I have not a problem with it, but
dude, all of it's fake, including the magical superhero Jesus. You act like that's the easy part to believe, and the rest, all the magical stuff from the Torah, that's hard to believe. But all the Jesus story, that you know for sure. Like, okay,
it's hard to digest.
Okay, bruh.
But that's where faith comes in. If this is true, then you have to have faith that the other parts are true. It follows. Because a lot of it you have a hard time with. You have a hard time with the things the Catholic Church has done, some of the things they've said and done over the years. You have a hard time with some of the things in the Old Testament. You have a hard time with, the textual interpretation.
Like talking snakes, talking donkeys, the 10 plagues. What's some of the other craziest stories? God commanding you to circumcise your dicks.
You have a hard time with death, judgment, suffering, all these things.
Walking on water.
And we don't have all the answers, but the things that we do know help give us faith about the things that we don't know or the things that we don't understand.
You don't know.
That's sort of where I come at it from. I don't think we're ever going to perfectly.
And why do you know Jesus walked on water and did miracles and rose from the dead? How do you know this? Well,
I read about it in a book.
Written by Ben Stiller's, the script writers, the Hollywood script writers.
That's not really the point, is to perfectly understand it. It's by definition beyond comprehension. So I never have doubt about the things that matter.
Coligo sent $20.
The things that matter. Just have faith. Oh, look at this. No more news clips with the clip. Just have faith.
Wherever there's he's all for that. He's all for division. He's the source of all. Wherever there's a division between two human beings, that's the footprints of Satan, or the fingerprints of Satan. That's why when
Jesus said he came not to bring peace by the sword and to divide.
Sees you opening your Bible, he's going to interrupt it, or he's going to bring some type of ethereal thought in and say, well, this can't be true, or he's going to cause doubt, or he's going to cause you.
Yeah, cutting the animals in half for Abraham's covenant. Right, that's another one. Anybody that says, hey, this can't be true, any thought in your head, in the God-given brain, any thought you have when you're reading this that this sounds like a Jewish fairy tale book. Wait a second. Is all of this magical stuff happen, or did they just write a story fulfilling prophecy? That's Satan in your ear telling you that it's not true. The Jews would never lie. Uh-oh. That little voice in your head telling you that the Jews made it up, that is the devil. Yeah, true. Hey, you trust those Jews, otherwise that's Satan whispering in your ear. Hey, Nick, the Pope's looking at you, okay? Do you have a hard time accepting that the leader of your church that you shill for is the only solution is concerned about the rise of anti-Semitic hatred in the world? He's looking at you, Nick. He's looking at you. Blaming those Jews for killing God. Calling them synagogue of Satan. He's looking at you. You're gonna get excommunicated if you keep it up, boy. I can't wait for this new Dragon documentary by Rabbi Khan and Dinesh D'Souza and Netanyahu. The one where he calls, I can't wait for whoever does the new edit with Netanyahu shilling Jesus.
Say a word about the role of biblical archaeology in affirming the presence of the Jews going back not just to the time of Christ, but going back 2,000 years before that.
First of all, look at Christ himself. He wasn't a Palestinian teacher. He was a Jewish teacher with a Jewish name, Yeshua.
It's called Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Yeshua. You worship a Jew, Goy. The king of the Jews, who did miracles and flipped the money changers' tables.
His father was Joseph. These are
Come see the Jesus boat, Goy.
Hebrew names. And where did Jesus turn the tables on the money changers? Where? In Nepal.
He recently just said he helped the blind see. He made the blind see. He did miracles. Hey, Goy, follow your miracle, King of the Jews. There we go. Now we're back going. I don't know why. I thought I disabled the $1 ones.
Perhaps in
Jesus for $5.
E-Crusaders say he did works on the Sabbath, changed dietary and ritual laws, and touched the lepers, so he didn't follow the Torah exactly equals not like those Jews. How to
He used
that?
Pharisaical pilpul to scoot around and do loopholes around the laws. Jews all do that.
$5 on Rumble. Geofencing sounds like putting a shock collar on your dog.
Like putting a tag on you where they can inundate you with their propaganda.
$5 on Rumble. Geofencing sounds like putting a shock collar on your dog.
Shock collar.
Hawk Shred sent $5 on Rumble. There is a backdoor built into all hardware. Intel Backdoor 2008.
Well, we're in big trouble if that's true. Is that it?
Nepal.
Thanks,
perhaps
guys.
in Singapore. Of course not. It was in the Jewish temple.
The Dragon's Prophecy in theaters October 6th and 8th.
In the Jewish temple. And what the Dragon Prophecy, I got a summary of the book. He talks about October 7th is some biblical thing because it happened at the end of Sukkot, which represents the end, the decline in power of the 70 nations, where they sacrifice the bulls in descending order. And the dragon represents the satanic nations turning against Israel, is I believe what his book's about. Hey, come get Geofence, Goy. Dude, Dinesh's new documentary with Netanyahu is based on the book by this guy, by of all people, the sacrifice. That's what Christians sound like. We need Christ as king. We need his sacrifice. Oh, that's what it feels like. I hear people talk like that. We're washed in the blood, and
Doesn't anyone notice this?
I lose it.
I'm taking crazy pills.
This guy's a multimillionaire and one of the most influential Christians in America.
The atonement, that's what it's about. But for 2,000 years, the Jewish people have had no atonement.
Give me the blood of the lamb. The poor goat. Christians will be like the meme, the Wojak meme, like, those Jews think they can atone for their sins with the chicken. And then they're like, oh, Jesus, atone my sins. Oh, Jesus, my perfect chicken sacrifice. My perfect goat sacrifice. That is what Hebrews talks about. Jesus was the perfect, because there's all these verses in Jeremiah and elsewhere where it talks about God not wanting sacrifices. So they midrashically interpreted that into what culminated into Jesus, who was the perfect cosmic heavenly high priest sacrifice that didn't have to be repeated every year. Look at the angels. We might be dressing up my youngest as an angel for Halloween. This is... I love it. Skibbity-doo.
Musa.
Dude, and Christians will be like, Jewish, that's so Jewish and satanic. He's just reading the Hebrew Isaiah 53 that ancient Jews were obsessed with and believed it was the Messiah, and connected the servant of Isaiah and the servant songs to the anointed and cut off dying Son of Man from Daniel 7 and 9, and then the branch and the servant in Zechariah, and the figure and wisdom of Solomon, and this figure talked about in the Psalms and the other prophets, and all of that woven together in a Jesus puzzle. Speaking of LARPers, check out this Crusader. He's here in Canada wearing a Crusader outfit. I don't want to hear any more about pagan LARPers when you guys are doing this shit. A man wearing a Crusader outfit with the Jerusalem cross is standing here in opposition to the pro-Hamas crowd. So he's a pro-Israel Crusader. He's probably Indian. Is that the Indian guy from Twitter? The Indian Groiper? Christ Crusader. Somebody should dress up in a Viking LARP and go and stand in front of him and have a duel. This is how we win, guys. There was a clip of Fuentes last week talking about, what do you think a super chat was like, when are we going on the crusade? When are we crusading again? And he's like, you're stupid. What do you think? You're going to grab a sword and get on a boat and go to Jerusalem and take over the Holy Land? The original duped Goy costume.
Archaeology.
His father was Yosef, Joseph. These are all Hebrew names. Where did...
All right, we got Dinesh D'Souza. Yeah, the Crusader flag, Jerusalem cross. That's what Pete Hegseth has tattooed on his arm. Hey, guys, dressing up in Crusader outfits to go stand around with the flag. That's how we win, man. Hey, those pagan LARPers, though. Comic-Con is over. Hey, yeah, but Merp, you Marvel comic, Marvel superhero, but Reddit tier, Marvel, you worship a Marvel. Marvel owns your gods. You sacrifice babies in the forest. That's what these. Meanwhile, they're doing that.
Christian. We're called to love the people of God. And we know one of the ways that I know the Jews are God's chosen people is the hatred, the irrational hatred for them. You don't see an irrational hatred of any.
We know they're chosen by God because all the goy hate them for dumb reasons. That's the logic. I hear Christians, Jews really believe this. They go, all the nations hate us, but they believe our book. So that keeps them locked in, like codependents in this delusion as well.
Other group. We're called to love the people of God, and we know one of the ways that I know the Jews are.
Jocelyn
sent $5
girl
on
Jocelyn.
Hekelat Rabati predates the Sefer Yetzirah and refers to the Wheel of the Stars. The Hebrew alphabet associations were directly curated to Babylonian astronomy.
Okay. Interesting. Wheel of Stars. Sefer Yetzirah, Wheel of Stars, Hebrew. So they were copying some Babylonian astronomy. Interesting.
God's chosen people is the hatred, the irrational hatred for them. You don't see an irrational hatred of any other group. There's something there, which to me as a...
So you're saying that anti-black racism is not irrational? Everybody else is hated. Every other racial stereotype is for good reason, except for the Jews. The Jews are hated for no reason. That's funny. Right?
You don't see an irrational hatred of any other group. There's something there, which to me as a negative shows the positive. Yeah,
it's irrational to hate them for thinking that they're God's special chosen people that gave them a special piece of real estate and that their king is meant to rule all the world and conquer our idols. Irrational to have any issue with that.
That God's hand is on the people of Israel. And again, the details are details. You can talk forever about it. But the idea that they're people somehow who have an animus against Israel, or somehow, let's face it, Dinesh,
for some reason,
blame the Jews for anything, for crucifying Jesus. This is.
Oh, there it is. There it is. It's so baseless and illogical, hating them for killing God. He died for our sins. He laid down his own life. It's God's preordained plan. The prophecies foretold it had to happen. We wouldn't be saved without it. We wouldn't have our blood. We wouldn't have our sacrifice. It's so irrational and baseless to hate Jews. See this? See this narrative, how it plays out? And all the big influencers take the stand on the side of the Jews. The official narrative in the mainstream is all completely on the side of the Jews on this one. Not the Jews killed God clique.
It's ridiculous. I mean, it's almost shocking in this day and age that people would return to these ancient hatreds, to these ancient lies. I mean, if anybody listening thinks that he is a Christian, the number one thing you know as a Christian is that I and my sins put Jesus on the cross. If you want to blame someone else for putting Jesus on the cross, you do not understand the basics of the Christian faith and are probably not a saved Christian, and that should frighten you.
I'm going to have to save that one for an edit. When the book's done, I'm doing debates and more videos, like edited videos and compilations as well. I want to do one about all of them, showing the dynamic of the Jews killed Jesus and how it plays into their whole victim dichotomy. That would be a good one. Dinesh D'Souza sat down with Elijah Schaffer, who's now wearing a Orthodox Christian cross and tweeting all the time about religion.
We started bombing.
Apparently not interested in having any more Christian debates.
There's no way that you use 9/11 as an example when, like, that we missed it, that the multi-trillion-dollar economic powerhouse with all of the foreknowledge, like, didn't know that we were going to be attacked when Alex Jones, a guy in his basement, quote unquote, could call it and said Osama bin Laden's going to fly planes into the towers, but we missed it. Like, that they were running air drills that day, like international. They're shutting down radars. Like, we saw some of the same stand downs happening. There's a way to not be anti-Semitic, Dinesh, and then be like, hey, Netanyahu needed this war to stay in power, and he, since the 90s, has wanted the Greater Israel Project to succeed. And every country, including now Iran, that he has wanted to invade, the U.S. has helped coalition forces. We haven't invaded Iran. He still wants troops on the ground, but we started bombing them. That he is using our government to fight his wars, and that Americans are getting tired, myself, that we are being slandered as anti-Semites. We are being slandered as, like Ezra Levant slanders me as a Jew hater, all because I am trying to be honest with my audience that there is a...
Dude, look at Luke Radowski shilling Roseanne. He says, what a legend. This Kabbalist, hardcore Zionist. Yeah, thank you, Foundering. She's a cuck Zionist, dude, whatever. Project Knowledge says, you mean Zionist? Luke has really lost it. Melissa Wong says, Zio legend. We follow each other. Melissa Wong. She doesn't look like a Melissa Wong. Deport straight to Israel right away. I love that everybody's getting him. More like dumb Jew. Zionist or not legend. She's not a legend. She's an Israel first. Dude, she just had Rabbi Jonathan Cahn on. Yeah, dude. I'm glad that everybody is ripping you a new one. What a dude, talk about sucking. Elijah Schaffer is having an emotional crash out. He would even admit to that. Dude, Luke shilling for Roseanne. What else do you need to know about the guy?
Select group of powerful Zionists and Zionist Jews right? Many Zionists are not Jewish. Many Zionists are white. Most Zionists are white, I would say. White Christians are Zionists.
Yep.
And I'm not anti-Christian. No one says that I'm anti-Christian.
I am.
White Zionists. So I'm saying there is white Zionists and these powerful Jews, and I want accountability because I believe they've captured. I was offered thousands of dollars just this week to start shit talking Muslims. That's not even a joke. And one of them was to spread lies about Qatar influencing our universities, which has been debunked. The money went to buy leased names for our schools in their country, not to influence curriculum. And it's like I'm seeing all this on the back end, and I feel like when you're calling Tucker crazy, you're like basically, because I align a lot with what Tucker's doing. How am I aligning with the left by trying to keep America American and keep the politics America first, not Israel first?
Well, if you were living in World War II and
What a question.
great fight, let's say, going on between the Allies, which is to say the West, and the Nazis, there is that fight. It's going on. You can't.
So we need to team up with Jacob to save Esau and Edom, huh? Oh, they're our allies. The other side wants to destroy the West. Dude, everybody, we need to find a video of them talking about destroying Edom and tag Dinesh D'Souza and say, does this sound like they want to save the West?
Trying to keep America American and keep the politics
straight to the Holocaust.
Not Israel first.
Dude, no way. Amalek says his dad loves Dinesh, and I'm trying to talk him into going to the movie tomorrow. It's playing near you. I hope it's streaming. I want somebody to stream it and put it on BitChute or something so I can watch it.
Well, if you were living in World War II and there's a great fight, let's say, going on between the Allies, which is to say the West, and the Nazis, there is that fight. It's going on. You can't avoid it. And so you're either on one side or the other, right? If you basically say, all right.
Isn't neutral an option as well? Thought neutral was an option.
My goal really is to expose Winston Churchill. I'm going to show that Winston Churchill is the real villain of World War II, not Hitler. Hitler had some understandable grievances, and sure, he might have gotten slightly out of control. Then I would say objectively, you are against the Allies and whatever you're doing.
Guys, I'm dropping a link in the chat right now. Everybody share this and tag Dinesh D'Souza if you could. Or just tag him underneath the video and say, look at the anti-Western agenda in Judaism, something along those lines. I can't have these guys avoiding the Edom question, pretending that Israel's going to save the West anymore. I can't do it.
Whatever its motive, it could be very benign. It could be that you had German ancestors and you feel benignly toward them. But objectively, you are helping, if you will, the Nazi cause in this fight that's already going on. So that's not really a name calling. It's just it's a description. It's not an accusation. This is the effect.
So if you don't support the Jews, you're helping the Nazis. That's his argument. Yeah, you could say time to get green pilled on the anti-Western agenda against Edom. That'll work.
As a friend, so to speak. So I'm not chastising you. I'm simply saying, look.
I'm just calling you a Nazi.
Whether you intend to do it, or not. Now, when you say things like, and look, these accusations aren't new, right? People said that FDR knew that the Japanese planes were coming to bomb Pearl Harbor. He knew it in advance. He wanted the U.S. to get into World War II. There was enough internal opposition that he let it happen because that was his clever way of getting us into the war. And this has been a kind of theory that's hovered around really for 75 years. Similarly, about 9/11, you're saying, how could it happen? Well, I'm old enough to know that the CIA has not gotten one thing right since the 1940s. I followed CIA analysis of the Cold War. These people are some of the biggest idiots the world has ever seen. They constantly misjudged the Soviet Union. They claimed that the Soviet Union was going to keep going for another 50 years at the minimum. When the Cold War ended, right to the very end, they were saying that it was never going to happen. So think about what morons and buffoons have been running this country, at least the intelligence services. So I'm not in the slightest bit surprised that they were completely fooled by a group. See, if the Islamic guys had tried to sort of outwit the CIA on technology, they would not have succeeded.
Dude, what is he blabbering about now?
chose a brilliantly primitive way to operate. And the same.
All right, here's my link. I retweeted it and tagged Dinesh D'Souza too, so you guys can give that a like or a retweet also. Make it easier. Probably better we do it that way. I dropped the gauntlet on him.
With October 7th. I mean, Hamas basically came, they just drove across the fence. They didn't try, the Israeli security for the last 20 years has been talking about the need to move to cyber security, and they're worried about cyber attacks that would disable the communications networks. Hamas didn't need any of that. They basically just sent savages in human gliders, almost like you're doing parasailing on the beaches of Florida, and they came in that way. And that's the one thing that the Israelis weren't ready for. So if you're saying that they knew in advance, you have a really
Rochelle sent $5 to Nesh
Rochelle.
and a buffoon.
Thank you. I agree. Thank you, Rochelle. Like that name, Rochelle. Are you French?
Basically,
Rochelle?
a Jew from a military family like Netanyahu, who has basically been fighting for his country and shed blood his family has for Israel, is going to sell the Jews out. I mean, look at it this way, Elijah. How come the Israeli left, which hates Netanyahu, has not been able to out him for this, savage him for this, take him down for this? If there was a shred of evidence that Netanyahu allowed or knew about this in advance, Netanyahu
But they
would
did.
be
That was the
Israel,
opposition
but he's
party.
not.
The opposition party is who released the audio and the video for the Apache helicopters firing munitions blindly without verifying the targets, which allegedly is what blew up the vehicles or the cars that they showed. So the opposition party did release Careless, and also the tank that was firing the kibbutz into the homes. That was his opposition did release that. That's where I saw it. I go, I actually didn't know if they let it happen right when it happened. I guess I was like, how could this have occurred? But it feels like we're being gaslit. Like I feel like I know that you're smart, and I know that the money's not like what your detractors say. Like, this is dumb. To you guys, Dinesh is rich. He doesn't need $7,000. Like, it's insulting. He doesn't need $7,000 to post about Israel, and he's not doing it for $7,000. But I'll be straight up with you. From the industry, I know that the position you're taking guarantees safety with donors, guarantees safety with like investors, and it guarantees like mainstream acceptance, especially with the distributors that need to put out films and movies.
Right. And they all know this. They all know this. And hey, you got to do the Christ grift to get that acceptance also. Hey, try saying that the Jewish book isn't real. Try saying you're not interested in bowing down to Jewish messiahs, and see how much mainstream acceptance you get then in right-wing media. Okay. This was interesting. Pope says no comment when asked about Trump having the military in Chicago.
Holy Father, President Trump has sent 400 National Guard troops to your city, Chicago.
Yes,
against...
I prefer not to comment at this time about choices made, political choices within the United States. Thank you very much.
Sherry Redstone, the daughter of Sumner Redstone, or Rothstein, actually, or before he changed it. He was the founder or the CEO, the owner of Viacom, one of the biggest media companies in the world. They recently sold to Paramount. So Sumner Redstone was a big Zionist. Sold to Paramount and Larry Ellison, another huge Zionist. She tells Forbes that she feels she's in a quote-unquote war against anti-Semitism. And as part of this war, she worked to inject pro-Israel messaging into their content throughout the world. But we know the rule. Saying that the Jews influence the media is just an anti-Semitic stereotype, and we do none of that around here.
Stereotyping Jews is terrible. Use this to send a unifying message. I feel as though we might be in a war fighting hate and anti-Semitism. But when we're doing programming to address these issues, I think we need to use language.
Talk about social engineering and conditioning and manufactured consent. Well, Viacom owned MTV. Think of all the influence MTV had on generations.
A war against anti-Semitism and hate.
But when we're doing programming to address these issues, I think we need to use language and create programs that unite people and that aren't so divisive. If we take a step back, I think we all agree that we want a world without hate, that we all see the impact that hate is having on our society and on our lives, and that we want to create a better world for our future generations and for our children and our grandchildren. So to me, using that language is a way that we can come together, we can recognize that we all share these common goals and not think about where our differences are. I want to go back to decades ago when there was a movie that came out called Passion of Christ. And
here we go.
The movie and
oh, dude, it's literally like the scene.
Jews is terrible.
It's Passion of the Christ. That's from that scene. She is the woman in the synagogue in that scene. Crazy.
Oi, a good Jewish word.
A good Jewish. A goy. Oh, she said goy? We missed it. Hold on. And I'm going to find that clip.
Christ. And I remember recognize that we all share these common goals and not think about where our differences are. I want to go back to decades ago when there was a movie that came out called Passion of Christ. And I remember screening the movie and saying, oi, a good Jewish word.
Oi. Oh, I thought you said goy. Oy vey.
I'm really concerned about what that would do when the movie was screened and people saw it, and that it might lead to a rise in anti-Semitism. So I immediately did an event where I brought together religious leaders from across the state of Massachusetts. We screened the movie. We had dinner, food, screened the movie, fun, but not so much fun. And family created that community where we had a discussion and we talked about how could they use this film in their sermons on Sunday? How could we use this to send a unifying message? So,
dude, she literally, the South Park meme has been fulfilled. Watch this.
Shalom, hack.
It makes Jews
under
$5. Hey, look at Pansy defending Zionism. She's just power chat, and Odyssey just won't work reliably.
I still haven't set up the Odyssey Power Chat. I heard you have to do some crypto thing. I didn't, or set up a wallet or something. I don't know. I heard that and I just slept on it.
It makes Jews into
Sherry Redstone. He got invited. They caught wind of this. Sherry Redstone, we need to have a dinner with the Goyim and tell them how to handle this.
Now, everyone calm down.
All right. Fulfilled.
No matter how challenging it may be, if it can spark a conversation and empathy, has a real ability for impact. You know, at Paramount, we had a program called Content for Change, where we actually created and produced certain...
At Viacom, we had a program called Tikkun Olam, called Shine the Light on the Darkness.
Impactful content and documentaries where we distributed content, including the film We Will Dance Again, which was about the events on October 7th at the Nova Music Festival. And in fact, that film was produced by Sipor Studios. Sipor means story in Hebrew. And that was how I got to know them. And the reason I think it's so important is I do believe content can bring people together. Sipor does both commercial content and impactful content. But right now, people fail to see the innovation and the creativity that exists in Israel. And their vision is to be the first international studio based in Israel. So right now, we're actually producing a film in Argentina for the Latin American market where we have a female star. I don't want to call her the Taylor Swift of Israel, so forget I said that. Who's in this telenovela whose boyfriend goes to Argentina and ends up in a relationship with the wife of the Justin Bieber of Argentina. And they go there and they create this telenovela, which is for the Latin American market. How amazing for that. We're producing a show in Australia, which is a political conspiracy. So people from Israel are working together with people in other countries. And of course, we're producing in Israel as well. And we have a great show called Heart of a Killer. Guys, wait for it, which is about a female doctor in Israel who... Dude,
they're running all their pro-Israel propaganda in Argentina and South America, too.
Is that what I'm hearing here?
Gets involved with the illegal black market organ transplant in order to save the life of her friend. And again, this takes place around the world with different stories. So I think being able to see Israel differently is consistent with my foundation.
She seems really involved on the pro-Israel agenda. I would think she'd just be some billionaire heiress that wasn't even involved at all. She's just on, luxury vacations all day. Propaganda worldwide. Yeah, isn't it wonderful? Speaking of wonderful, speaking of light to the nations, I've got our last segment here.
Has Dr. Scribina ever explained why Constantine chose to spread Christianity instead of any other pagan religion as the official religion?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I don't know if he could even know for sure. It would have to be a lot of speculation. Okay, last segment. Look at this drone footage, reported drone footage of the destruction in Gaza. Look at this. When Trump said there's hardly a building standing, and when the Zionists would say turn it into a parking lot, turn it to glass, they weren't kidding. Look at this. Drone footage. Every single little home. They didn't do this. There wasn't a Hamas missile, a Hamas soldier underneath every one of these little buildings. Did they bulldoze all these? Did they bomb every one of these? Every single building in this neighborhood? They destroyed it all so they could never come back? They destroyed it all so they could just roll their bulldozers over it and rebuild in their new Riviera of the Middle East? It's like they turned it to dust. They literally just Trump called it a demolition site. He's like, it's a demolition site. It's like, yeah, Israel demolished it so they could take it over and rebuild it. Mad Max shit. Here's another one too. Watch, here's the before and after of the satellite image. Before, a lot of green. You see the city, and then afterwards it's just like dust. It's just like a desert. Yeah, Hamas was hiding under every one of those. Every one of those buildings was a human shield that Israel had to bomb. Google Earth, yeah. Here's the Google Earth before and after. It's completely gone. If this is real, which I assume it is, look at that. Completely gone. What is this going to look? It's going to look like Dubai or something. It's going to be Kushner real estate resorts rebuilt for the new Abraham Accords in the new Middle East. It's real. You checked 2 weeks ago. You can actually do satellite images of this. Only the wall remains. Crazy. Crazy to see to the destruction. But none of that is real. Don't believe your lying eyes. Mark Levin, the Jewish Zionist news host at Fox News, says it's all lies. It's all Hamas propaganda. They haven't done anything. No kids have been killed. It's all Bollywood. It's all faked. There's no evidence. Total ethnic cleansing and genocide denial in this clip here from Mark Levin on power. Oh yeah, we know all about your people's power, Levin.
That war in Gaza would be over in less than a month if the Israelis used the firepower they had in Gaza. But it doesn't matter. We still have news sites, including Israeli news.
Yeah, the Israelis told us what they wanted to do and why they felt justified. They said, well, if the Americans could bomb Dresden, firebomb Dresden, then they can do that to Gaza. And that's what they intended on doing. And it looks like that's what happened.
News sites.
Unlimited power. Right. Thank you, Ashes.
Who continue in Gaza. But it doesn't matter. We still have news sites, including Israeli news sites, American news sites, who continue to talk about the casualty numbers that are fed to them from Hamas.
Stop talking about all the kids we're killing. That's a blood libel. We never killed anybody. It's all blood libel.
That's always their excuse.
Just like the Christians say we killed God.
Thank you,
matter
Zorn.
how many experts from the Wharton School and others say it's not possible what they're talking about, the death of children and the death of women.
Oh, it's impossible. It's impossible that a Jew would kill any children. Meanwhile, they'll talk out of both sides of their mouth and be like, well, they're human shields and they have no choice. And Hamas is actually sacrificing. That's what Roseanne says. Hamas is sacrificing their own children to Satan because they're satanic. And Luke Radowski's like, legend, total legend. Let me get some more clout from the Jews. Legend.
Does it matter? They keep pushing it because they push an agenda. It doesn't matter that the New York Times used phony photos on the front page of its newspaper. You know, during the Holocaust, we had black and white films, largely thanks to Eisenhower, who said, I want you to get your TV crews in there, and I want these so people...
Didn't they go back after the fact and do some of that filming? Stage some stuff?
We have film after film after film. People can see it online. You don't have that in Gaza. Instead, you have...
Oh, my God. Hey, you don't have any... There's no clips of dead kids being pulled from rubble. There's no crying, bleeding kids missing limbs in hospitals. No, none of that exists. These aren't the dead Palestinian kids you're looking for. There's your Kabbalah black magic.
See it online. You don't have that in Gaza. Instead, you have phony pictures. Instead, you have propaganda coming from Hamas.
Phony pictures and propaganda.
He's literally running cover for the slaughter of so many little kids.
Hamas that uses its hospitals, its mosques, that slaughters its own people.
What disgraceful. Dude, desperately evil rat, says ORS Press. It truly is disgusting. Pile of shoes. That's funny.
That war.
Yeah, they got a pile of shoes. What do you got? Pictures all over the internet of dead Palestinian kids? Well, we got a pile of shoes. This disgraceful. The gaslighting that they'll do on this cover-up. Here's a Israeli model says that the Palestinians are going to grow up and be terrorists. So they got to die.
ציונות זה לא להגיד דברים שמחריבים את ה-PR שלך.
PR, Smotrich and Ben Gvir are doing as anti-Zionist. She's criticizing the extremist Zionist in the cabinet. Isn't the actions that get us into trouble as a country? To tell you, I'm not sad for every child in the world who cries. Oh, she has no sympathy for all the kids and the suffering. She understands that this child, if we don't act, will grow up and be a terrorist. Oh, I guess they all need to be exterminated. They're all born evil, anti-Amalek, anti-Semites. They all have to be destroyed, right? Even the pretty leftist ones, which she's either got like the craziest rhinoplasty ever or a whole lot of European DNA mixed in, because that's like the smallest little nose I've ever seen in my life. I would never think this girl is Jewish. Yeah, 98% Russian princess phenotype. Right. But even the ones that look like this and are like maybe even secular or leftist, they still have this mentality for even the children of Palestine. All right. That is all we have for today. Huge show, 3-hour show. Smashed the goal. You guys are her inner evil shows through her outer beauty. Totally. Jew eyebrows. Okay, you guys, the experts are coming in and dissecting the eyebrows. Oh, they are some thick eyebrows, but that is just kind of the makeup style these days, too. She does not look Jewish at all. I don't see it. Meh. Anyway, who cares? So we're going to go out to a mix from John Garadas. I appreciate everybody for the support. About 600 people watching the whole afternoon. You guys are awesome. Share the links. Sign up for the subscribe star in the link below. I'm about to get some new t-shirts in green ordered. Appreciate everybody for the big donos. You guys are amazing. Wouldn't be possible without you guys. clip up the show, share the links, give it a like, subscribe everywhere. Let me know what you think in the comments. And I will see you guys again very soon. Have a nice night and take care. Down with Yahweh and Hail